Ira here.
I see recording.
You see recording. Thank you, Russ. And good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our meeting. It's Monday, April 6th. This is the Town of New Canaan's Charter Revision Commission. We're having a special meeting. And we are going to turn it over to Angela Jameson to do a roll call.
Mr. Case.
Here.
Ms. Corbett.
Here.
Ms. Holm.
Here.
Ms. Jameson, present. Mr. Kimes.
Present.
Mr. Lampert.
Here.
Mr. Labris.
Here.
Ms. Neville.
Here.
Mr. Pallo.
Here.
Mr. Perrette.
Here.
Ms. Willett.
Here.
Very good. All members of the CRC are present.
And also joining us is Ira Bloom, who's on.
Yeah.
He's got also a cutoff as well. So we're going to do a little bit of a switch around on the agenda. Let's move the meteor stuff up first.
All right.
And we'll move the minutes towards the end, if that's okay with everybody. Can I just have a motion to approve changing of it? Yeah.
Second.
Steve and Russ, all those in favor?
I mean.
Okay, great.
It is.
So let me just tell you where we are and what I hope we can accomplish today. So everybody should have a draft of this. It's just the first 27 pages of the report. What's not included is version 7. What's not included is the actual existing charter itself. And so that also is part of the report. That will also be redlined as part of the report. So the first 27 pages are just actually, and still a lot of work to be done. But we're going to just go through each of the articles. We went through, for those of you who were not here at the end of our meeting, got through 3 of them. We can review with anybody offline, but I think we all had a very good discussion about the 3 of they're not in consecutive order here, but we got through Article 1. And I'd like to make a proposal that we get at least through Article 5. There are some other articles that have been, Joe, you had commented that all the changes have been in, so we'll go through planning and zoning being the other one. So we'll do a little skipping around in areas where we're pretty confident that we have what needs to be changed. I also want to, on the thematic discussion, we sent our group, which included Angela Jameson, Bill Perrette, and Russ Kimes, who met this morning and went through 2 areas. Russ, you led the discussions. 2
Yes.
areas. You want
I
to
got
just comment on that?
told to lead the discussion.
Yeah.
So we talked about term limits.
Is your mic on?
Yes. We
Can you
talked
turn
about
that one on too? Thanks.
term limits, and we discussed the process whereby posting / visibility of openings and/or expected openings. And we discussed the homework that I had done researching our peers, as well as Angela had proposed a few options or flavors, shall we say, for the term limit discussion that was had by this group in the previous meeting.
Okay. With everyone, I'm going to ask for if everyone agrees this. Let's go into that. Actually, Jennifer also sent us a nice checklist of things that we could go through just to make sure we're covering. We're not going to cover all of them tonight, but we've got a number that we can. I want, Russ, if you'd be kind enough, maybe let's start and talk about the work you've discovered about how other towns go through the appointment process. Would you be so kind?
No problem. So it was sent out and I believe put in the public packet.
Yeah.
So hopefully everyone saw it. And if you haven't had a chance, the executive summary is that everyone, I hate to say it, except for us, does some form of posting of boards and commissions with vacancies. What I have found across the board is that they're posting those. So as I think it alleviates some of the concerns that Angela had brought up about people who are incumbents. It's only those that are true openings or known to be upcoming true openings. And the mechanisms vary because each municipality has different ways of doing it, but by and large, it's done through either an online form using one of a couple different tools that they probably already have on board for other tasks, or through their HR platform for job openings. The process by which is obviously different depending upon which municipality and their own internal machinations. But in all cases, they are posting them and providing that transparency and availability to increase the likelihood of a broad net of people applying for positions. The only one that didn't was Stanford doesn't post the list of positions, but they do have an online form. And Greenwich is slightly different. And I think we've had conversations about this, that Greenwich has what they call a nominations advisory committee. So it's a committee who receives them all and then provides that to their board of selectmen. But they also have an online application form. So in the discussion we had this morning, and I think this larger group has all agreed that this is something we would like to see accomplished. The recommendation at a high level and for discussion is some language to the effect of posting it online on town website, and the specifics should be left open because whether we currently use ADP for our job openings and hiring process, there are other ways to do it, but therefore provide that transparency for those that are open or known to become vacancies in the future.
Okay.
And all the municipalities and all the forms and all the processes are in that document, should anyone wish to dive in.
Okay.
Is that separate from what our group 3 did, which is under the first selectman? Or did you incorporate what we did?
So I looked specifically at neighboring municipalities, large and small, as to how do you apply if you were interested in an appointed position, for lack of a better term, whether it's a board, a commission, whatever it might be.
So what Judy's referencing is that
We
group
already
3,
wrote that.
yeah, group 3, if you be kind enough to turn to
Yeah.
page 9,
Yep.
Article 3, under First Selectman and Board of Selectmen, there's a great paragraph that was put together right in the middle there, all vacancies on
okay.
board. You got that?
I'm trying to
I'm
remember
on
where I
page
had it.
9,
Yeah,
and
okay.
it's
Yeah.
Article C 3-4, power to make certain appointments and fill certain vacancies.
Got it.
So it's a perfect spot for it.
So we could correct it from there if you want.
And
Yeah.
I'll just read it aloud. All vacancies on boards and commissions shall be posted on the town website with a link to a form to allow residents / electors to self-nominate. The first selectman's office shall refer self-nominees who indicate membership in a political party to the Republican Town Committee or the Democratic Town Committee. We had a quick comment about that too, but we'll come back.
Okay.
The Board of Selectmen shall review and select from the nominees, interview nominees, and vote in a regular noticed meeting on the appointment of the selected nominee. And then it goes on to say appointments to the Board of Finance, the Ethics Board, the Audit Committee, going to be called the Audit Board. And this is in addition, the Planning and Zoning Commission for discussion are subject to confirmation by the town council as specified in this charter, and it's cited. Then there's also a nuance that's added. If the Board of Selectmen fails to fill any appointed position within 180 days, I guess, of notice of its vacancy, the town council may fill such vacancy. I don't know what
How
happens
does
if they
everybody
don't.
feel about that?
Yeah.
And what happens if they don't?
180 days is a long time.
You know, it is a long time, but.
Well,
we
let's
have
go to
some
the
that
first.
go on and on.
Well,
Let's come to that. Let's
Well,
go.
let's talk about it. a
Yeah, I
little
think
bit.
we need
Yeah.
to talk
Yeah.
about it because we left it open for you
Yeah.
all to
And so there's a lot
input.
to unpack here. And so let's start with really Russ's review of how other towns are doing it. We've discussed it in different groups and so forth. So I think we are all on the same page that whatever the process is now, we want to make it better. And if possible, we can codify it in the charter. Let's do so. Does anybody have any other opinions on that? No. Okay. So the language that's put forward, and this is group 3. Did you use this, Karen and Judy
For,
and Todd?
Todd,
Yes,
yeah.
Todd, for the vacancies. Did you get that language from something else, or you just wrote it yourself? Or
Karen
Karen,
got we've redone it, but some of the initial
Okay.
language Karen got, yeah.
okay.
And she referred to something Angela had written and given to her. So it was
Okay. So
beside
there's
us.
a lot of people. So the first sentence, I think I would question to allow residents and electors to self-nominate. I would take out just residents. I think you should be a voter in town. That would be my opinion. Anybody have any objection to that?
No, and I think that's correct, because then that, if we don't, then that conflicts with some of the
That's
other.
right.
action.
We've gotten further than that by now. You're
Okay.
right. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Before you even get to that, where you say all vacancies, one point that was brought up, and I've seen in a lot of the other places, is vacancies or anticipated vacancies. So if you know someone is going to be leaving the board, you can get some head time on, I'm going to retire, or I'm stepping down on my next term. It just gives you the opening that if it's anticipated, you can get it out there.
But when does the clock start? Well, we'll
Yeah.
get there on that
That- we
last
need to
sentence
talk
about
about
that
that,
180 days.
So as
Yeah.
long, that's the trick is to make sure that doesn't hook you with the 180. But
Yeah.
it could be whatever it is.
That's
Maybe someone says in 2 years, this is my last term.
Yeah,
Okay,
but they might change their mind.
true.
And they do
So-
all the
That's
time.
the thing. So maybe it's from the point where the resignation, oops, sorry. Maybe it should be from the point where the resignation is known publicly.
Do you have to resign if your term is up?
Yeah,
If you've already hit your date, your term is up, December 1st, just a second, see, December 1st, my term is over. Do I have to still resign if your term's up?
no,
No,
Okay,
because you
so,
might be reappointed, but if you say, usually within a month or two of people stepping down, they'll say, this is my last meeting or two, and,
yeah,
I'll stay on until the end of the year, but the notice is made publicly at that meeting.
okay.
It's known by everybody
At that commission meeting.
at that commission meeting. And that, I think, should start the clock.
oh,
Well, I
I-
guess Steve, hold on a second, Steve and then Angela, sorry. I might-
No, I was going to say, we had this with the Board of Ed, whereas recently someone just resigned, and this clock starts once the town clerk receives the official resignation, if it's before the end of the term. To me, the natural time is at the end of the term. The clock should start afterwards.
And even if you give notice and even if you say that, they dismiss you or overlook it because they figure they'll talk you into staying. I mean,
No, but
I
it's,
had
once
this
you've
happen,
gone to
so
the town
that's right.
clerk
Then
and
it's
submitted,
official.
then it's official.
Yeah.
And that's
So
what
maybe
they
that's the
decide.
date, from the date
Yeah.
that it's
So why don't-
noticed by the town.
So,
Yeah, I
I
Angela,
was going to suggest that we should specify from the date of resignation, which is when you have notified in writing the town clerk that you're
Mhm.
resigning. Not that you've told the chair of the board or commission, because that doesn't count.
Right.
And I think it actually has to be a physical letter
Yes.
to the town clerk. So just phoning the town clerk up
I never.
isn't enough. Sending an email isn't enough. You've got to write a letter and get it to the town clerk. And I think it's too difficult to have other nuances in there in the town charter. It's not the place for that.
Well, that's already provided for in Board of Ed. So all you have to do is kind of
Mimic.
All that
mirror
language.
what they do.
that's an elected position though, too. So there is
No, but
a
if somebody
different nuance.
resigns, it's still, in there is the language about having been.
Yeah, but that's a 30
noticed.
days. That's
It
30
is.
days.
Well, that's because
30
they have,
days.
that's,
They have to
that
fill
by
it. The
state
statute at
did.
the state.
Yeah,
Correct.
he's right. Yeah,
Right.
they have to.
So,
Kathleen, you have
yes,
your hand up.
yes, Todd.
I'm not sure if I'm understanding what everybody's saying, this nuance with the date of notice of the resignation. For me, it's gotta be the date the resignation takes place, because I can say I'm resigning in 6 months and send it in. That doesn't make sense to me, because why would a clock start ticking? Then I'm resigning in a year. Here's my resignation. I think it has to be the date that the resignation becomes official, that you're out.
And that's what the town clerk
Yeah,
signifies that.
Yeah. that's because the date when you're gonna resign, let's say you say I'm resigning in a year. How can the 6 months start running?
No, it can't. It's-
So it has to be from the date the
But the question,
vacancy
but the
opens.
question is, should you start looking for bench
Of
strength?
course, you
Yeah,
should start
well,
looking, but
yeah.
that's not the vesting date. The vesting date
Right,
has to
right.
be
But the
Absolutely.
day,
the date of the opening becomes available. And maybe it shouldn't be 6 months, because that's, to me, way too long.
depends on when they notify.
Because it's
Let's
very
say-
rare that somebody says, I resign today. So for me, well, it happens.
People can,
Can't mourn
Take
somebody
ill or-
until there's
or-
a corpse.
I'm sorry,
It said you can't mourn anybody until there's a corpse.
I agree.
So.
that's how I moved into.
Well, we can have a discussion about
All right,
that.
Russ and then Phil. Phil, go
Phil was
ahead.
first, sorry.
Sorry.
Wouldn't everybody have to resign, or whatever you want to call it, at the end of their term?
If there's a term limit.
The term limit.
If there's a term.
If there is a
If
term.
there's a term limit.
We don't have a
So I
term
mean-
limit yet.
So I mean,
Maybe we should.
if
find
somebody, I
out
mean, you may have
first.
somebody who's not performing and doesn't resign, you know, which I think we touched on a little bit this morning in our group. I mean, we just seem to me it's whether you resign or you don't resign, sort of at the end of your term. You either get reappointed or you get somebody else seated.
I think
Okay, yeah.
split this into two parts.
Okay.
One is I'm putting my old HR days hat on. One is recruiting to fill a spot, which as soon as you know something's official, you want to do as soon as you can to start to be able to find the best candidates. The second half is the clock that ticks for when you have to have the seat filled. So if you split those two, I think they're two different conversations.
I think that's a good point.
And we can proceed on this.
And I think you need to notice, this is only for appointed.
That's
So-
true too.
Correct.
Right.
You need to put that language in.
And that also depends whether you like the 180 days. So there's a few things
So-
there. I'm not sure I like that, but that's what.
So it would be all vacancies on appointed boards and
All
commissions.
appointed, yeah.
I think 120 days is more realistic.
Beyond resignation, there might be some people that are not reappointed.
Right.
That would also be a variation. And if I understand everything we're saying, this will create a gap of 1 to 2 months in that position.
It could, worst case scenario, it
Worst case,
actually
yeah.
puts in place, they have to do it, which doesn't exist at all now. I mean, it could.
Well, what does exist throughout the charter is that even if you've reached the end of your term and you're not officially reappointed, you still serve until you're replaced. That's
Okay.
throughout the charter.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's, you
And
don't
you
have a
can
big,
stay
you
after
don't have
you
a gap, in
resign
other
until
words.
they find
Yeah.
If you have to get, if you have to get,
We do
we
that.
use 6 months or 3 months, but if you have to fill a seat in a 6-month period before it goes to the town council, I think that's operative. I mean, I just think what you want to do, I mean, the months are somewhat less important. If people aren't performing, they should be told. Everybody should know they're stepping off 2 months early or 3 months early or 1 month early, and you should get a replacement on time. And so how do you write that down?
So, Bill, that could happen in two ways. Someone could be terminated by the Board of Selectmen for cause. That's, I think,
That's
unlikely to
taken care
happen.
of in the
Or
charter.
Else,
That's good.
someone's going to be told that, look, you just haven't been contributing enough, attending enough. I think the best thing is if you tender your resignation. And most people would go that route rather than have it all out in the public in a Board of Selectmen meeting.
Angela, do they have to tender their resignation? I mean, their term is up in X months. We're just not going to renew you.
One of the two.
That's a possibility. And then the vacancy actually starts from when the
Their term is
the term
over.
is up.
But then, going to Russ's point, the process for that, I mean, the Board of Selectmen, somebody should know that that person is not going to be renewed and start the process to replace them. Because if they're not good enough to renew, we certainly don't want them hanging around for another 6 months.
There may be situations where someone is, well, you said underperforming, and out of deference and the politics of it, that, you know, you don't want to post it, and that's okay. That's
right.
fine. You know, you're going to replace them when their time is done. Does it compact the filling time? Yeah, a little bit, but it also is I hate to say, the right thing to do to not put someone in a very bad position.
But also consider if someone is missing, absent, I mean, unless they're in the
There-
hospital or something.
There's another basis.
Three in a
getting-
row, you can automatically ask them to leave. That's
Steve.
a given.
Yeah, Steve.
In the language that we have drafted, is it automatic that if you are not if your term ends and someone isn't appointed to replace you, you will be expected? Or are we setting up the function that there needs to be a vote to reappoint you every time? Because I'm more in favor of a actual physical reappointment every time someone's
Process,
term.
Well, there
ends.
is a reappointment. I mean, when your term
Yeah.
expires, it's the Board of Selectmen have to reappoint you. And in the case of Board of Finance or in a few other boards, then you have to go to the town council and get revoted. So
We
yes,
just
that
saw-
already all exists.
Yeah, but a third of the people in the commissions have not
Because
been.
that's because they're not being appointed. But that goes to the end of this paragraph where we
Right.
say, okay, there has to be a limitation on just how long to drag your feet. And I think you have to provide for both bad behavior on the part of the selectmen and town council.
Right.
So 90 days for each, and then at the end of that, the commission gets to appoint its own person.
All right, well, before we go there, can we?
So then it goes back to the commission, and you say, hey, you guys had 180
I'll give you a
days,
case.
and you politicians screwed it up, so it's gonna go back to the board of, whatever it was, inland waterlands, and we're gonna appoint,
Well, I think
Somebody.
most boards and commissions wouldn't know what to do to try and find somebody necessarily.
Oh, they
But I
probably
would,
but
would.
it forces the issue.
well, I would like just to go back to that first sentence, and I think it's sufficient to say all vacancies on appointed boards and commissions shall be posted on the town website with a link to a form to allow electors to self-nominate. I don't think we need to go into anticipated vacancies. That's just my point of
Yeah,
view.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's also a little bit rude. I mean, it's rude to the person that maybe said something out of hand. or
It also
wasn't
gives
sure.
the flexibility to the Board of
Flexibility.
Selectmen
Right.
to develop a
Yeah.
process
Yeah,
that.
I
is
don't
gonna
want
work.
to take away the focus from the Board of Selectmen and
Yeah.
all this. We talked about that.
Yeah.
It's not broken. Let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's just make it a little helpful, more
So
helpful.
I'll give you an example. There's one committee or commission or whatever, where the chairman resigned in December.
Mhm.
And here we are in April, and this, to the
That's
best of my
right.
knowledge, I mean, something could have happened.
He's still
last 40
serving.
years, And he's still serving as the chairman. He does not want to serve. And I guess,
Well,
how
under
are we gonna deal with that? That's why.
It's
that's
Well,
why-
how you deal with it is this paragraph.
Well, I
He's
think-
submitted his resignation. He's serving until he's replaced.
So,
But
but, I mean,
But here, it won't drag on beyond, in this
Right,
case,
that's all I'm
180
saying. I
days.
mean-
Yeah.
But he's serving out of the goodness of his heart. I mean, it's
He
not.
could
that
he's
step
he's-
down.
serving because,
Yeah, he
he's serving
could,
because
but he's helping.
because the candidate, he's serving, I mean, we don't think, because, I mean, I don't know why he's serving. He's not serving out of the goodness of his heart.
Well,
He could step down.
he
if
feels an
wanted.
obligation. Let me put it that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's try to move away from individuals talking
But how
about.
are we gonna deal with that?
Yeah. but
Well,
that's
this
the
would be
point.
dealt with,
I
this,
think we are, we're trying to deal with
This is
this
what-
paragraph.
yeah.
I hope so. Yeah.
180 days.
Good enough.
Yeah, by basically just having the first sentence as adjusted, which now says that it must be posted, there's a process that puts a notice, and then the second half is the timing, which I think we have yet to come to a
Well,
decision.
the
on, but
next
that gets
sentence,
you-
there was some, the
Let's
next sentence, there
yeah.
was a question about referrals to the RTC, DTC.
right.
Do you need that language at all?
Well, I don't know, but you certainly have, like you brought up once before, Kathleen, members of parties that don't necessarily want to go through their parties
Yeah.
for whatever
Yeah,
reason.
I don't think it should be in.
I don't think it should be either. I just think we're over legislating
Yeah.
there. And
Yeah, I mean,
there's a lot
They
of.
always have the
issues.
option to do it, but they don't
Yeah.
have to.
But you don't always have RTCs and DTCs capable, willing, and having the time to deal with this. I don't think we need to include
I
that.
agree.
I mean, it's helpful if they are, but
Yeah.
And if you get rid of that, it does say that the Board of
Doesn't say
Selectmen,
it's getting rid of it. They can still be part of the process. It
That's
doesn't
right.
have to be
Sorry.
in the charter.
getting rid of that sentence,
Right.
not the process
Right.
underlying it, that's probably how it's gonna happen most of the time, but,
Right.
but then it also, the next sentence says, you have a form, the Board of
Okay, so that
Selectmen will
whole
know there's a
sentence can
form,
come
they
out.
can
that
ask
whole
questions and
sentence
see who's
from
on it.
shall.
No,
Yeah.
from
The whole
the
sentence.
first selectman shall
Well, you could
refer.
start, I was just going to fill it in with another thought, but you could certainly start with the whole sentence.
Let's just strike that sentence
All right.
because that's what it
All
deals
right.
with.
It's simple.
All right, let's not yeah.
So now we go,
Can we-
the Board of Selectmen shall review and select.
So can I
Yep.
make
Yeah,
one
go
change
ahead.
prior to that?
Yeah.
So, as opposed to say the word self-nominate, why don't we just say apply?
I like that.
It's actually very.
Yeah.
You're not
We're step-
nominating yourself, you're just applying.
Yeah.
To
I think it's
apply.
great.
And secondly, I think, I do believe in reading through part of the sections on resignation, we do need to take into account separately, because there is a separate sort of construct there about, if you resign, that to put a time limit on that resignation, that it then becomes effective.
Well, that goes back to you have to submit a letter
That's
to the
right.
town clerk. You
I
can say, I
understand,
quit and
but
walk
what
out of here,
happens
but
today in the charter today is what Bill's sort of referencing, even you resign, you're still expected to serve until your replacement comes.
That's what the language is in the charter.
Yes.
But
So-
it doesn't mean you have to.
No.
Nobody's
If
chaining it.
there's
to
a
the desk.
tit for tat, they can
You're
just.
gonna wind up, if you find some mass resignations issues with quorums and issues,
That's right.
right? So my suggestion is we talk about resignation language with a time period to which then that rolls into this with a vacancy to apply. So at least somebody who's resigned, right, gets the ability to come off after a certain time window. That clock, to your point, clock start ticking, that is basically addressed elsewhere in the charter.
That's gonna be in Article 2.
Exactly,
Yeah,
that's where we
right.
find it.
And-
So
So
let's
leave
let's
it
stick
there,
with
so
right?
this.
if we agree that that's okay, we're gonna do that there, then we can focus on this.
Yeah.
I don't
You wanna
necessarily
look at
agree, because
that
I'm
for
not
a minute or
sure
not?
this charter has any authorization to control what individuals do.
Correct.
If they want to just walk off, they'll walk.
You
walk off.
can't
I don't know how you
legislate
can put in
that.
a charter to control somebody.
No, I
No,
agree.
you
Steve.
can't.
I,
You're
I
right.
really think, I'll go back to my earlier comment, it's when the town clerk accepts the resignation, that's official. You,
Some people have left town and never filled out that.
Mm.
the,
A lot
Then-
of
Yeah.
people, not a few.
but
That is
Let's just say I
Believe me,
resigned today.
I just like
I
to say,
resign, I'm not gonna do it. I'm
But
not
you
believe me,
gonna
I
do it.
went through all the records
The heck would you
for
do?
term limits. I
I
saw
was- I'm
all
leaving.
the
I'm,
What are you gonna do?
I'm mad as hell and you can't.
But I think
I have
under
no
the
intention
general
of saying that.
statutes, I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
I think under the general statutes, it isn't an official resignation until that physical letter is
So let's
submitted
say
to
I
the town
resign
clerk.
right now and I leave and I don't give a letter and I say, I'm done.
Yeah,
What are you gonna do?
well, we're gonna chase you and we're gonna get that letter out.
Not gonna pay her.
But you can't.
Well, then
vote.
it's-
He's not gonna
You
say
can't
that.
force somebody to write a letter.
Hold on a second. And this is a little archaic, but the town clerk actually requires a wet signature for resignation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So would you
what?
resign and just say the heck with it?
Yeah,
what?
and I know that's happened. People move out of town,
And-
didn't ever
yeah.
get the letter written and
So
didn't
the
happen.
position stays open downstairs, the
No,
town clerk, she
no.
does nothing?
No.
So what does she do?
I will find out.
I-
Make sure the language is done. Yeah.
Well, I've looked through all those records, right, to do those term limits, because there's sheets that exist about your original appointment, what your term is, when your term expires, and then it goes line through those pieces. So at the moment, it is not an official process that happens that when she becomes aware of an opening, X, Y, and Z happens.
Okay.
It's basically handled on a per commission basis, because I did ask that question, because I saw people, for lack of a better, like Tom Nispley, who's no longer with us.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Yeah.
I'm sure he did not send a resignation letter in. So, yeah,
With all due respect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Bill.
Do we have situations like the ethics committee where they actually couldn't meet because they didn't have a large enough committee? I mean, and what we're writing, dealing, I mean, they actually couldn't function.
Yeah.
And, I mean, how are we dealing with that?
So
But
when we
none of
get to
those people,
ethics,
Tommy?
let's
none
start,
of those,
let's,
none
when
of
we
those
get to
people
ethics.
continued to serve, which I questioned at the
So when
time.
we get to ethics, we're gonna
So
suggest adding alternates to prevent that from happening. So let's finish
Okay,
this
that's fine.
one.
Just wanna make sure
We're
we
just
deal
on
with it.
one paragraph here and we wanna make sure that this is, I thought this was gonna be easy. It's not. So, but that's okay.
It's a lot into it.
Remember, all the other things, resignations, different article. Ethics Board, different article. Let's just focus on this one. And this is the third sentence. The Board of Selectmen shall review and select from the nominees or for the appointees or people who appointed.
Applicants.
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 Thank you. Yeah. Okay.
how about say the Board of Selectmen shall review and interview, right?
Yep.
Applicant,
Mm-hmm.
so.
I don't think you need interview if you're going to select or
No.
self-nominate. That's
No, you're just gonna
redundant,
say
one or the
shall
other.
review and
Hi, I just
interview.
want to say that this is something that we discussed as our group that was really important, was to not have who is going to have to interview all of the candidates. Like the word all is a lot in case we have all these self-nominees. So that's something to discuss amongst the group. I think it's still, like in Fairfield, it's still the first selectman who chooses who the nominee is between all of the people that apply versus the Board of Selectmen looking at all of those applicants and choosing the nominee as together. So I think that's a key point.
And the other point we discussed too, the first selectman may be doing all the initial interviews and recruitment. And then the Board of Selectmen may or may not interview. It's not required. So they get to choose who they want to interview.
But I
And
would, I
if
would
you want
like
to,
to.
if you want to enforce it differently, that's another
Then Angela,
conversation.
So I
Angela,
would
then
like
Russ.
to see the Board of Selectmen reviewing all applications. Currently, it's just the first selectman who reviews all the applications, decides whose name, one name, to put forward to the Board of Selectmen to vote on. I think it would be a better process if the entire Board of Selectmen reviewed all applications. Do they have to interview all applicants? No. So but it should be the Board of Selectmen that decide which applicants go through to the interview stage.
So if it just says shall review, take out interview, that might be,
That's
interview
too
might be
much.
part of the review process.
That's right.
I let
I
them
think you
decide.
just
So
said-
then it would read the Board of
Wait, hold on a
Selectmen.
second, Russ was next.
So I strongly agree with what you're saying, because I think that's the spirit of what we're trying to do, is to make sure that everybody gets a chance to be reviewed, and the board does enable that. So I strongly agree, and I think that you just take out interview as a they're gonna interview those that they feel. So,
They don't
yep.
know, and, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so review applicants.
So review all applicants.
Well, I think it's applications, actually.
Okay, so review all applications. And vote at a regular notice, meeting, et cetera.
Are these interviews in public or
I-
private?
No, they're
I
not.
also-
As you say.
I also
ahead,
think
Karen.
that could become a little onerous for all boards and commissions. So maybe you want to specify a few.
I do too. I think it's too much.
If it's done.
I don't know.
I did it I mean, they're not running over
Well,
the
if-
transom, you know.
But
where you're-
but if
you're-
you have, it seems easy if you have it just coming from the RCC or the DCC, but what if you have these applicants? And in theory, maybe there could be many, probably won't happen, but that's just
doesn't.
my fear of the word all. Like everybody who, like if you're in HR, you don't interview everybody who applies to your position.
Correct,
No.
correct.
There's a
Karen, I
selection
was-
process.
Karen, I was concerned about that owner's requirement as well,
Mhm.
but the way I got to agree with it was this is in place of an elected process.
Mm.
And so in a lot of respects, that's their job, so I mean, this is really important. And I understand the drafting about the interview, but I might say and/or interview. Because,
Review, they review.
Review and-
But
I thought you were saying
review
and/or interview,
incorporates that, but
I
you're
mean-
not requiring the Board of Selectmen to interview all these
You
people.
No, you're not.
Review and or interview.
That's
Exactly.
right.
Well,
Yeah.
when
Just
you're
to make sure
interviewing,
they have
you're
the right
reviewing,
to- But you are
right? Yeah,
reviewing.
exactly. Review is a broad base.
Broad
and
term,
There
so-
are plenty of people I didn't interview because I knew them very, very well.
Yeah.
Didn't require an interview, maybe
Yeah.
just to say, do you know what the time that's involved and so forth? And are you going to make every meeting, et cetera? But I think review is a broad enough. And again, we want to be broad here. We don't want to be
Yeah.
too specific.
And I don't think we're getting 20,000 applicants for.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say,
But-
in your dreams, do you have more than one or two applicants?
So-
But you
Okay,
have to
that's
review all,
considered.
because who's gonna make that first cut? It has to be the Board of Selectmen as a group.
I'll tell you how we did it. When I was on the Board of Selectmen, you might have done the same thing. When I didn't know lots of people, and there were, say, quite a number, Utilities Commission being one of them, maybe affordable housing. When those started to come up, and there were quite a number, that's when you did lean into the Republican Town Committee and the Democrat Town Committee and say, look, there's 4 people here. Can you give us your recommendation?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's when you take
Yes,
advantage of
but
that.
the list of all the people who had put their names in was submitted to all the selectmen as a group. That's
Submitted
the
to
point
town
that
council.
Angela's trying to get,
Yeah.
and the reform that we're trying to do here, so
Yeah.
that it goes from the person who is
Yeah.
the first selectman
Yeah.
to the group, which is the Board of Selectmen.
That's how all of
And
us were
Kathleen,
opposed. Yeah,
that is not what is happening now. It's not what happened for the most part under
What's
former
happening now?
selectmen. It maybe when a new board or commission is set up, that's the way it is, that all the applications go to the Board of Selectmen. But currently, it is the first selectman who decides which application, singular, goes forward to the Board of Selectmen for approval. And, you know, of course, the Board of Selectmen could say no, but they're not seeing the other applications, so they're not making a decision about who the very best candidate is.
I didn't have a board of selectmen that wanted to interview anybody. I didn't have a board of selectmen that even wanted to do the review of the, I mean, again, in your dreams, is this all, you know, gel? That's just not their focus. If it's a really important job, sure, they might want to see the final candidate. But generally, no. I mean, they just.
I think it should be noted that the charter as it's written today puts that job on the Board of Selectmen, not the first selectman.
Yes, I think that's good enough, actually. Yeah, it should be the Board of Selectmen.
Russ.
Nope, he had his hand up
I'm
first.
sorry, Steve.
I was just going to say, I think in practice, the first selectman will select. The only thing I think this is requiring is that all the candidates that were available would be known by the.
Subject to
the board.
review, yeah.
So they
By
would
the
at
Board of
least be known
Selection,
by the
and
board of
they-
select. If somebody wants to say something, they can. If not,
They
Then they
can-
don't, yeah.
Yeah, the group will know who else was available.
Yeah.
And they'll make a selection.
And
I
if
think
the first selectman
that's
said,
the way
there
I
are 3
would do
people
it.
that applied, I'm
You can't control
recommending this
behavior.
person.
And the tools are available now, especially now with whether it's ADP or whatever tool to just you get an extract of, it's only going to be 5, maybe 10 in the biggest case PDFs. Okay.
Okay.
My humble opinion, that's. the
Okay.
job.
Okay.
I think we're good then.
All right, so how do
Okay.
you feel about the 180 days? We wanted
Whoa,
that
whoa,
to
whoa,
open
whoa,
up.
whoa, whoa,
All right,
whoa.
you want to go, all right, what
Let's
else?
put your wish, okay with that sentence.
So,
Okay,
Okay, so the Board of Selectmen shall review and vote in a regular notice meeting on the appointment of the selected candidate.
Sorry, could I interject? I think
Yeah.
it should state, first of all, Board of Selectmen shall review all applications and vote, and then vote in a regular notice meeting on the appointment of the selected applicant.
Fine with that.
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that.
Me too.
All right, can you just repeat?
Yeah, the Board of Selectmen shall review all applications and then vote in a regular notice meeting on the appointment of the selected applicant.
I'm fine.
you don't need then. I think you could say and vote in a regular notice meeting.
Okay.
That works, yeah.
Okay, I'll pick that up from you later.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. And then how do people feel appointments to, as it exists today, Board of Finance, Ethics Boards and Audit Board? Change that.
Why did you change it to audit board? Because we haven't had that discussion.
We
What
haven't
was-
had that discussion.
So what was the,
It'll come up
It'll-
in the
all right,
article.
well,
Sorry,
save
it's
it.
just
Yeah, all right.
mentally in my head.
all
Sorry.
right,
So these are already, some of these already have the requirement with town
Correct.
council?
Yeah, it's only the planning and zoning, which is highlighted there.
Right, and so why did we only pick the additional one? Why didn't you think about others that are in the charter itself? Because here's my viewpoint, if they're elevated to in the charter, they're obviously, I wouldn't say a higher importance, but they have a different, I'd say, weight or gravitas to them. And why did you only pick planning and zoning?
I think that was based on the initial discussions that we had based on, especially when people were talking about whether P and Z should be elected or not. It ended up with, some people were okay with it remaining appointed, provided that there was a second level of review.
And does it
Which is where
require
that's
the
came from.
same number of votes that it does, for instance, for the audit committee?
That I don't think we've had the discussion on, but that.
The audit, I think audit and ethics have always been town council approved, but they weren't listed
Correct.
that way in the charter. So that was just a correction in essence, unless I'm mistaken.
No, they're listed in the
They're there.
charter as that, and they require.
No,
a cer-
well, they are, but they weren't in this paragraph. This paragraph mentioned
Right,
town
so,
council review for only finance, Board of Finance. It didn't mention the other two.
Yes.
So that was just adding them to this line. And then the only real addition was P and Z. And to be honest, the only reason I think that we added it is because of this commission debating about it. not really for any other reason, just because we've been talking about it.
Thank you, Karen. Let's just go around. And Steve, you're fine with that?
I'm fine with this.
Yeah, Chris?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, Jennifer?
I would add inland wetlands and ZBA. I would add,
Well, that CBA is, that's a little different. Inland wetlands is definitely a key land use.
ZBA is not?
Well, it's a little.
We haven't gotten to those sections
haven't
yet, so wait
talked
until we
about
get
it,
to
but-
those
You
sections.
can always add them
It
back
could
in here.
be.
I beg pardon?
I said, as we get to those sections,
We can add them
we
back
can
if
add
that's
them
something
back to
that, yeah,
this if needed.
correct.
And I do think if you're going to use the same mechanism that you're using for those other boards, then you should follow the same voting percentage.
Probably.
It was 7, I think.
I
right?
believe it's 7, yes. I'm just looking at that, which,
Yeah, when we get to that language, which,
Yeah.
Okay, but anybody, everyone, okay, I don't mean to.
I don't know, it's a little bit of an overkill. Does all this really need to go? I mean, to the town council, that you've got 3 elected people on the Board of Selectmen, you're still talking about 5, but we basically have 3. I think that covers a lot of this.
Okay, so again, there was the planning and zoning, the one that came up under a
Well, that
lot
came
of
up differently,
conversation. And I'm okay with leaving it as adding the planning and zoning. Angela?
Yeah, I'm okay with leaving planning and zoning, and I think, as you mentioned, it was important to some people that if we weren't going to elect P and Z, then the membership should be subject to this second level of review by elected representatives.
I'm still on the fence with whether audits should be elected, and I've had these conversations certainly with them. But that's
That's
you
a no.
want,
That's a
that's
hard no.
another
Well,
issue,
you
another
You'll
discussion.
never,
no.
you'll
Oh,
never
my
find
goodness.
people with
I
the
know.
qualifications.
Well, I
Who could
disagree with that.
oh, no.
That's not that
Okay.
hard to
We're
find.
gonna go.
Guys,
No,
guys,
No, not.
we're not in the audit
Well,
section here.
We agree that we're gonna at least park it, come back after we go through
Yeah.
some of the other
I just want to know, does anybody have any objection to planning and zoning being on this list?
planning and zoning.
Planning and
No,
zoning
no, no
only,
objection at all.
no objection,
Solely planning and zoning is an add.
solely planning and zoning. You're the last word.
I think it's overkill,
Okay,
but
Little.
okay,
I'm okay with it, but I think it's
okay.
overkill.
I think the consensus is
Yeah, it's
we're gonna
okay.
leave it in there.
I'm okay with it.
Okay, all right, so let's leave it in there. And then the last sentence, if we get that far, how many minutes later, 41? If the Board of Selectmen fail to fill any appointed position within 180 days, and again, whatever the trigger date is, the town council may fill such vacancy. It doesn't address what happens if the town council doesn't fill the vacancy.
Why don't we say the town council shall?
Mm-hmm.
That's, you gotta get it done. Make it mandatory.
Shall?
They're elected. Do
Okay.
it. Done.
Yeah,
Yeah, not may,
Well, it-
shall.
shall.
That they're elected officials. If the first, that, make them do it.
And if
But
they're,
then I would think the total, the total time lag should be 180 days.
Yeah, I agree.
So 90 days at the selectman level, 90 more days at town
Mhm.
council.
I agree.
I agree with that.
And
Yeah,
90
definitely.
days isn't very long, actually, because, and a vacancy gets announced, there's a need for a sort of a specialty on that board or commission.
Most vacancies are gonna be announced well in advance. It's rare, it's gonna happen, and the clock starts ticking that date. The first selectman should have at least 30, 60, 90 days in most cases notice in advance. I don't think it's that long.
And Angela, you're the one who's complaining about the fact that there's not enough people who are appointed on a regular basis to your commission.
exactly.
Well,
what-
yes,
yeah.
but I'm trying to provide some level of discretion for the first selectman and the board of selectmen. I would also like to argue at this point in terms of leaving the word town council may rather than town council shall, because I think that if there is a difficult situation, it would be nice if it would be desirable for there to be some communication between the first selectman and town council about what might be upcoming.
Bill,
I actually can't see, I just don't understand why people don't do their job. So if somebody has to be appointed, you just appoint.
That's right.
And why you have to wait 90 or 180 days to do your job, it just.
you don't have to wait.
Well, I just
Yes.
say, but they just drag it on. And so, I'm on the side,
Shorter.
You're
You're shorter.
Maybe there's reasons why we're not appointing people, leaving people, just get it done.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all. And just get
And
it
if you
done.
don't do
And
your
I like,
job-
I think it was Chris's suggestion, maybe Steve's suggestion. If you don't get it done, let the committee appoint their own person.
Yeah, I mean, that's
They'll
the kind
figure
of
it
the
out.
ultimate bang on the head. If you guys who are elected can't do your job in 6 months, then it goes back to the committee. You know,
And the
we have to
chairman
do
of the
our
committee
work.
appoint them. I agree.
I agree.
Yeah, we have to do our work.
Done.
We'll appoint somebody.
Yeah, that's
And,
all.
you know,
90.
And
You
then-
guys go explain it to the
Let's just take a
voters.
pause here. I'm going to check with Ira Bloom at Town Council. Any objection to what we're kind of tossing around here?
Experiments.
In terms of the duration, 180 or less, or
Yeah, are there other,
process.
Mechanism.
charters out there?
I'll
that-
just offer- my observation is that it's increasingly difficult to find people to take on these responsibilities. So I'll just tell you, personally, I think 60 days is probably too short. 90, getting closer, 120 is probably a good number.
For each
If
board.
there's some other reason that people are delaying it, I don't know, but I know that it is difficult to get people to take on some of these land use jobs in particular.
Ira, if the first selectman didn't do it, and the town council didn't do it, could we put a provision in that would allow the chairman of the committee to appoint somebody? Or they don't have that authority and can't have it?
The chairman of the committee that's missing the person?
Let's say it's P and Z. First selectman doesn't do it, town council doesn't do it, can we give then the authority shift to the chairman?
I don't think there would be authority to give it to the chairman. And I think that would be probably not the best idea. Whether you can give it to the commission at that point in time. I mean, we can check that out to see if they have authority to appoint their own member, but usually the default is to a different board. I mean, I can
Yeah,
check that out. I would want to make sure that there is that authority that after whatever the number of days is, that, that it then returns to the board or commission.
Well, what we could do is say if the town council fails, then the position becomes elected. That'll motivate the board.
Got it.
Well, that would spur
Yeah,
them
moving
on.
along quickly.
That would spur them on,
All
yeah.
right, Rob, then Bill.
I understand that it may be hard finding people, but we're putting in a whole new process to find people. And so, maybe just if, rather than spend a lot of time researching, just say, it should be done in 60 to 90 days. But give them a time frame and at that point, I guess at the next election, you can stand up and say, whoever it is, the
10 years
selectmen.
from now? 10 years
Well,
from
no,
now?
the selectmen can't get their people appointed. We need to change selectmen. However you want to do it, right?
Yeah.
Campaign, but I mean, we're trying to make this more efficient and move it along. So I don't want to drag it out.
I'm sorry, Russ, I called you Rob, but okay.
I respond to
Go ahead,
everything.
Russ.
Hey, you is fine. My 2 cents is it doesn't even exist. Even 180 days, if you put the language shall for town council, it's an improvement. It's moving the right direction. You don't want to be too restrictive the first go because you can only open this up every 10 years. And it does apply the kind of pressure that I think this group,
No, there's no
Unanimous
pressure
was trying to do.
whatsoever now. There's not.
there's none. So at
Yeah.
least this puts something in writing. And then if they
That's
don't
right.
do it, it goes to
That's
town,
right.
goes to town council, they shall act.
I remember when I was young, I used to think in 20-year increments. too.
But then 180 days
All right.
would be way too much.
All right, how about 120? Do I hear
Sure,
120?
120.
Does anybody?
It's like bidding.
120?
125, 135.
I'll second 120.
Okay.
At least it puts it in writing and that,
And
which
it
doesn't exist
It
now,
doesn't put a clock on the town council, but it does make it obligatory.
that they have to do.
And so we're changing
4
may
months.
to shall.
And shall.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's 4 months, plenty of time.
Your show.
Nobody objects.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay, gee.
Ridiculous.
It's 48 minutes later and,
Question.
okay,
Over
yes,
here.
go ahead.
So I think we need to take into account, and we all just need to agree that we're gonna use the same then percentage of votes on town council. For instance, the same number of votes.
Oh, you want to include that here?
Well, no, I think we need to mirror, since we're using this
Yeah.
in the planning and zoning statute with that appointment
Mhm.
process. And I think if you're gonna do this, then you also have to talk about if that candidate is rejected by the town council.
Where was that? Should it stay
You
where it
understand
is
what I'm
or
saying?
should it be here? Was it under town council or, I remember the whole conversation, but I'm just trying to remember where it is.
Well, you raise a good point, because if the first selectmen don't pick someone, then the town council should be given de novo. They should be allowed to look at the candidates and decide who they want.
Exactly
They
where
don't-
I'm going.
That's the way it's worded.
Yeah.
That's what it says.
Okay.
That's what it says. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Talking
No,
about
you're not-
additional
that's
candidates or
not.
reviewing the same
Any,
slate?
any candidate.
Okay,
saying-
that's what I thought you meant,
They-
yeah.
They
shall fill the vacancy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
period,
Fill the
yeah.
vacancy.
However they go through it,
Yeah.
however that
Yeah.
process is.
Right, but then, all right.
And I think, Jennifer, coming to your point about
Not what
the
it says.
vote that there needs to be on town council, it does say here, as specified in this charter, and so the votes required for town council approval could go in the sections that deal with each individual.
That's what I'm
board
saying,
or
you're gonna have to
commission.
do, so we need to take
Clean it
note
up.
of that, because that's already there. But I'm also saying too, I don't believe, or subject to confirmation by town council. If the board of selectmen fail to fill any appointed positions within X, the town council may fill such vacancy, right? So I think you're just saying they have to fill the vacancy, but I think you might want to add some language in there that they also get to select the candidates.
Well, we're gonna say
That's what they're
shall.
doing.
Yeah,
They are
but-
selecting. Yeah.
That's a bad idea, because then town council could just take over the job of first selectman, just deny everybody and put their own people in, and that's not the intent here. The intent
No,
is that the
I'm
first,
saying
no,
something different.
you're not, because they could just say,
No.
we're not gonna approve these people because we
Todd,
want
I'm
to put
saying
our.
something.
Hold on a second, let Todd
different.
finish. Todd finish and then you can speak. Go ahead. Todd.
If the town council has the right to reject and then put their own people in, they effectively could take that job away from the first selectman who has that position.
How could they do
Just
that?
reject them. Get 4 or 5 people together and say, we're gonna deny everybody until you take the people we
Well,
want.
no, it's only that it goes to the town council if the board of selectmen fails to fill.
Bill.
But then what they're
But
saying
you're
is that.
saying they could engineer this. I know what you're saying. I think that's unlikely, but I guess
How could they? engineer it?
anything, because they could,
Only
Reject.
on those 4 boards.
Only if they
Yeah,
don't
that's
do it.
Only
right.
on those 4
Yeah.
boards.
Oh, on the 4 boards when it
Yeah,
goes to the,
that's
I
right.
see what you're saying.
Yeah, but
No,
But that
I get it.
exists now.
It
That
does,
happens
right?
now. They could do
Does it?
that now. Yeah.
They could manufacture a constitutional crisis
we
right now.
haven't had
with
a
the way it's
person
written.
rejected
They
by
could do
town
that
council.
now.
Okay, I
Or
didn't
on
realize that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we have to have some faith in
God,
the
I hope so.
goodwill of the elected representatives of this
Come out of
town.
this.
Totally agree.
So that
Some
exists.
level.
Right, I agree.
I get it. I
We
didn't
always-
realize they
we're
could do
looking
that
at
now.
Glass half
We're-
empty.
we're going
or not
way-
filled at all. So it exists now with all but planning and zoning. So the 3 that we previously.
I didn't realize that,
mentioned.
so then it's okay.
Don't
Do
give
we
it a
want a
idea,
number? Does it
I
have
thought we
to
were
pass by a
changing that, so
specific
my
number?
bad.
so
Sorry
you're
about
gonna have to pass a specific number in that.
In the
Okay,
other
guys.
part of it,
Chart.
okay, which would apply to
Okay.
this. All right, I get it.
Got
Okay.
it?
Yep.
Yes, Bill.
This may be a step too far, but in terms of the ethics board and the audit committee, one could make an argument that they should be appointed by the town council. Because, you know, if you.
Well, that's the second step for those.
Well, I'm not sure they
But that
should
is the
go
first-
to
The first step
Board of
is, yeah,
Selectmen.
because fundamentally.
Yeah.
They're monitoring or supervise, whatever the term you want to use, the first selectman in the organization, and in, you know, in the non-government sector, they are, you know, certainly, everybody doesn't have an ethics committee, but fundamentally, the audit committee frequently serve. But the audit committee is elected, you know, really by the shareholders. I mean, it's a sort of a shareholder type of thing, or board of directors type of thing.
They
So
should-
what you're saying is that the Ethics and Audit Committee, the nomination process starts with the
town council.
starts and ends with the
Yeah.
council.
Yeah, and that's something we discussed in group 2,
I think so too.
I agree.
But
to basically
Yeah.
make them truly independent.
It's naturally independent, and case in point, I mean, the ethics committee, I mean, look, this is my background, okay, with the ethics committee, people were not appointed to the committee, so they couldn't meet. And the post office box was closed by the town because they didn't pay the bill.
Okay, so it was an unusual circumstance.
Well,
There's
it's unusual, but-
5 members and 2 rolled off because they took,
Well,
they
whatever,
were
but I'm
elected.
just- but I'm
They were
just saying
and
But
appointed,
these
so
are
they were no
checks and
longer.
balance functions, so I mean, I could just see, you know.
The work should have been done. What if these people get elected or get appointed?
Yeah, but,
You know, do we have
no, I
replacements?
agree, with
Yeah.
that, but this,
Yeah.
so I think we
Okay.
could make a
it should
case.
be totally arm's length.
It would be totally arm's length if
Yeah.
you, in fact.
I don't
if
think
you
there's
really wanna
anything
be
wrong with
totally
what we
arm's
have.
length.
No.
I think what we have is working and I wouldn't suggest changing that.
Yeah, and I mean, I hear where you're coming from, but to be quite honest, I have greater faith in the Board of Selectmen doing a thorough job in appointments and vetting and interviewing candidates, even for these very politically sensitive bodies, ethics and audit, than I do town council. And that is just based on what I have seen of operations of both bodies over many years.
But I do think there's good governance and risk and controls if you have the person who's going to audit that selectman's government to be separately, independently put into place by a different body.
I think it's certainly better in both of these cases, we're better than
Okay.
most of the towns, if not all of the towns. But I think if we really want to be at the right level, we would have it done by the
So
town
Colin,
council.
Yeah.
I've heard what Angela has said about the town council, in other forums. Shame on the voters for electing the wrong people. But that's the electoral process.
not
But I
shaming
do-
anybody. Colleen, we're going to come on the audit committee. It's not in that particular article, so let's go through in a very methodical way. When the audit
Fine.
committee comes up, we'll take that out.
We'll come back on
Okay?
that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to go, we're partial, let's finish up 3, okay, and then go back to 2, and then we'll have gotten our all first 4 done, so
We're
let's.
done 120 days, shall everybody's copacetic? with that?
120 shall.
For now,
Fabulous.
yeah.
Okay, let's go back up to 3-2. This is about the Board of
Transparency. Love it.
Selectmen. Okay. This is where a topic that is the Board of Selectmen consisting of the first selectman and 2 selectmen shall have, and basically the language, the only thing is just describing what the Board of Selectmen is, which is 3 people. And I'm going to take a pause there for just a second. And because we know that one topic that's come up is should the Board of Selectmen be, instead of 3 members, 5 members? And I'll just do a quick round robin here. And anybody, I'm going to start with you, Steve.
Can I just ask a question? Has it ever been 5 in town? Has it always
No.
been 3?
Well,
3.
if you go down the stairs. right,
No, I
you
know,
can
you
look
go
at-
downstairs, I've been, so there's a couple of things that happened in the town. Where we went from a town meeting sort of scenario,
1960s.
That was different.
actually
yeah.
71, I believe it was.
Yeah.
There was at one point 5 sort of entities, which then when we left the town meeting in 71 and became a town council, that's actually.
There
when-
wasn't a need for.
That's when that sort of dissolved and built up the town council to replace the classic town meeting scenario.
And then Kathleen, if you had 5, I mean,
So the
I just don't
debate-
know this. Could
so-
it be 4 of one party and 1 of the other, or? 4
Well, under
independent?
minority representation,
Okay.
yes, but you can also put in this particular provision, if you did go to 5, that no one party should exceed 3. So you could put that in. All right, Russ, and then we're gonna go around.
No, I was going to kick off the going around. Or
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. go
So
ahead.
everything I picked up from this conversation, I think is a very good one, is that the big reason to move from 3 to 5 in particular is to allow the people who are on the board to be able to have conversations with each other without being, when I think a lot of the whole conversation was we want increased transparency and we want to have those conversations on the record, which going to 5 would actually be
Do the
against. It would allow people to have conversations out of public forum.
Exactly.
That's my 2 cents. So I
I
am
agree with
on
that.
favor of keeping it at 3, even though, yes, it does make some of the day-to-day work a little more difficult. Okay, the transparency is more important, in my opinion.
3.
Todd, great. Steve?
I'm comfortable with the way things are now.
Yep, okay.
3.
Chris? Jennifer?
5.
Okay.
I don't
Judy?
think it's broken. 3.
3, okay. Joe?
5.
5. Angela?
3, I don't see any reason to change to 5, and we do not have a town meeting form of governance here. We have a town council. So 3 is perfectly adequate, and I don't see a problem with it.
Karen? Karen Willett? Still with us?
Hopefully not.
I'll speak for, so having served on the Board of Selectmen,
Oh, Bill, you're an asshole.
Karen? I'm sorry, Bill, I skipped right over you. Forgive me,
You know.
forgive me, Bill.
I probably don't know that much, but I think I would go, I would go with more rather than less. I think I'd go with
Would you?
five.
Okay, okay. So having served, and in fact, I did double check with my other colleagues who have been in the minority party on the Board of Selectmen. Would it have been better if we had a second person there to, and to Russ's point, you know, one of the benefits that we're having in this very commission is that all of our meetings are transparent. We video everything. We're all together. When you do have that ability to caucus separately and so forth, decisions are made outside of the public meeting. And I know that when I was on the board, anything I wanted to talk about, I brought it forward while in the public. And I appreciated that. I never felt that I would have to fight my way, and that didn't always, decisions weren't always decided by party. In fact, many weren't. So I, and that's true for the sitting selectmen, Amy Murphy Carroll, and prior to that, Beth Jones, et cetera, also said 3 is just fine. And, you know, we know how to work it. So, and I think we do have a town council, which is 12. So I think that balance really works in my humble opinion. So, okay, I didn't, let's say the vote, who wants to make a motion? Because you're good at this. You want to make a motion of status quo?
Yeah, I will make a motion that the existing status quo of 3 members of the Board of Selectmen remain.
Okay, all those in, oh, we're going to call. Yeah,
I'll second. I'll second.
Bill seconds that. And then we'll go around and we'll start with Steve.
Yes.
Yes, Steve. Chris?
Yes.
No.
Jennifer?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Jennifer?
No.
No, thank you.
Yeah, Judy is yes. Kathleen is yes.
Angela is yes.
No,
That was Joe
Yes.
Pello.
Bill
I
Perez
was
is
yes.
Bill
yes.
I
Perez
second.
is yes.
Yes.
Russ Kimes is yes.
Yes,
Todd Lambert is
Then we
yes.
just
And
have-
Karen.
And Karen is Karen there?
She didn't vote. She's
You back?
I think gone.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't see her here.
No, it looks like she's dropped off.
Yeah.
Okay,
to Avignon.
okay.
One, two, three,
Was
four,
it,
five,
was
six,
that the
seven,
number
eight,
we
nine.
need?
No, she was off to Avignon, I think.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, so with that is
Out of 10 of us,
10 of us, 9 yeses and 1 no.
No, there were 2 no's.
2 no's.
Oh, I'm sorry.
8.
Joe, I'm so, Joe, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So that's 8 yeses and 2 no's.
Okay, so the motion carries. The Board of Selectmen will stay at 3 members. And the only last sentence in that same paragraph, 3-2, this came up, I think this was, what was this? This is group 3. This was you, actually. You raised it about whether or not someone should be a select man, a select woman,
Oh.
Yeah.
or a select person.
Yeah.
And I did
That's
do a quick
close.
search. This came out of, I believe, Westport. And the decision is left up to the person who's elected.
That's reasonable.
And it doesn't have to be there at all, but it's just something that, and I know that the first selectman now is perfectly fine with her title. And that's fine, but it's also gives you the option and you could appropriately address them and so forth. I'll just say, speaking as I should, I always stick with the male pronoun. We worked hard to get to where.
I think so too, and I think it's insulting to have to defend yourself, so
Exactly.
I would go
That's a
for
great- that's the
select
best line.
man and leave it.
I've never heard a male, really want
Ever
to be the
have
first
to,
select
yeah.
woman.
It's true.
Or to have to defend it or
Although
correct
you never know
people.
anymore.
So anyway, all right, well,
No, I don't think we need any, I think it's overkill.
But it doesn't hurt anything.
No, I
mean,
think
for
it's
somebody-
important. I think it's important
I
because
think
it
everybody's different, yeah.
officially you are first selectman, whatever your gender.
Right.
And personally, I have no desire to designate myself as a man.
so there, so you have
On the
that opportunity.
record.
Yeah, so you have that opportunity
Yeah.
in this line.
So what everybody's saying is, so the vote is, do you include this or
Yeah.
not?
Yes, yeah.
And
I
don't have
wouldn't
any-
include it. I think it's
Okay,
overkill,
I'll
and I
make a
think.
motion that this clause be stricken.
Second, or go ahead, that's fine.
Okay, let's go around. Do you want to strike?
No, I keep it. Keep this clause as
Okay.
is.
I want to strike. I
Okay,
vote yes.
Okay,
Vote yes.
Yes.
no. Keep it.
But wait a minute. The
But
vote
I
is
keep-
yes to strike it.
Yeah, I don't want it stricken.
Or you want to keep it?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah. that's
My
okay.
apologies, I was using the head. What is the motion on the floor?
To strike this
The last
sentence. In
sentence.
other words.
The last
leave
sentence. Got it. Okay.
selectmen.
Yeah.
All in my court.
Angela.
Yep. So, no, I do not want this clause stricken.
I vote.
You want to
strike.
keep it.
Yes, that's what she said.
Angela, you want to keep it.
I want to keep this.
That's why she
I want it,
voted
yeah,
no. Yeah.
upon
I think it-
election.
But the
I think it
vote
was
was,
2-2.
the vote is, his proposal is to strike the language. So if you want to keep it, you vote no.
Correct, that's what she just did.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, everybody has to be a first selectman, whatever their gender.
Yeah.
Okay.
I vote yes.
Politics is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Bill, do you want it stricken? Yes or
So
no?
what do we do? Just what do we decide? It's just.
If you
just to
want
be-
just to leave it, it's a yes. If you want to strike it.
No.
What did I
No.
just say? The other way around. You know what I
If you
mean.
want the language stricken,
No.
say yes. If
And
you-
and then
if you
therefore we
was.
would call, them. we would just be what?
Everybody's
Silent, it
selectman.
doesn't
If you
matter.
say
You
yes,
take the
everybody's a
sentence
selectman.
out.
If you say no, it's up to them.
It's up to them.
Yeah.
So. And you had two women vote one way, two women.
Well, I mean, the men can vote different ways too.
No,
I
no,
just
I
like to make that
understand it, but I
point.
generally
Guys,
think
last
I leave it
Yeah.
alone.
All right, Bill, do you want it out or in?
I'll leave it out.
Leave it out. Okay, so you're voting yes. Okay.
Joe?
I wanted
I
it,
voted, I voted yes.
You voted yes.
I wanted to stay.
I want to stay.
All right, so it's
And
four
Karen's not
stays.
here. And so there was what?
I think it was
One,
6 and
two,
6.
three,
Karen
four,
deciding.
Five
four,
no's
five.
and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yeses. So the yeses
Like I
were
said, Karen's
Chris,
the deciding. vote.
I didn't think
No,
there
it's
were that many.
1, 2, 3,
2, 3.
4, 5. You were strike it or leave it?
No,
I wanted to keep
he
it
wants
in.
to keep it in.
do.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
let's- let's
Three,
five.
4, 5.
Let's just leave it, and then when
Five.
Karen comes on, we'll,
Find it.
at our next
We have our
meeting.
tiebreaker.
The one's a tiebreaker, oh my.
There's enough.
Something not that
There's
controversial,
enough.
but.
Well, it is.
But
There's
it
enough.
is
Yeah.
There's enough
controversial.
of this
It's-
garbage
it's-
floating
it's-
around in
It's
the, in
too
the society.
wokey.
that
We don't
need
need to
more
get
of it.
into all that crap. Oh, it's just.
It's just-
Okay, moving on,
Unnecessary.
moving on,
What-
moving on.
What is the status of the motion? Did it pass or
It's
fail?
No, it's a
failed.
tie.
No, nothing. It's a tie. We have
Nothing
to,
is
we have
tied.
to revote.
It's nothing.
Nothing.
Nope, we decided nothing.
We're moving
I'd
on.
be in favor. Can Karen vote? Can she come back and vote later?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll just take it up for a
We'll take another
revote. You
vote.
guys
We'll
will,
take another
you
vote.
guys will sleep on it and realize that. We'll leave the words for discussion still up there. Okay. For some reason, C 3-4 is listed here, but there's no change, so I don't think there's anything we need. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Forgive me.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that new language. is-
All that
done
new
that
is
one.
on
Forgive me.
that.
We've beaten that to
We've
death.
beaten that, so,
See,
all right.
3-5, power to fill vacancies in elective positions and manner of filling the same. And this is where, this is for an elected person, okay? So this is when you have an elective office and someone leaves, like the Board of Education just happened, right? So, and this is to be consistent with what the change we just made in the Board of Ed. Within 30 days of the effective date of such vacancy, the Board of Selectmen shall, by majority vote, shall appoint an individual to fill the vacancy. If the individual being replaced is a member of a political party, then the replacement must be a member of the same party. That's a state statute,
Yeah,
correct,
yeah.
Ira Bloom?
As far as I know.
Yes, he just said yes.
Okay.
If the individual to be replaced is unaffiliated,
Correct.
the individual shall be replaced by also an unaffiliated. And I think that should say elector.
Yeah.
Is that true? If they're unaffiliated, does that mean that it has to be there? That's not a party though.
Unaffiliated.
Unaffiliated is not a party yet.
Not a problem.
Yeah, I don't think that's in the statute.
No, it's not.
I've never heard of that either.
Where are you exactly?
I don't think that's in
Under
the
the
Board of
30
Ed.
days? Yeah,
If.
yeah.
So if an individual is unaffiliated and it's an elected position and there's a vacancy, they moved out of town. Are you under state statutes obliged to fill that position with someone who also is unaffiliated? No. I don't think so. Yeah.
You're not.
I don't think so. You do have to keep.
It's
the
not a party.
You're not a party. You're an independent or whatever, yes, but
Correct.
an unaffiliated is not a party.
I think at that point, you have to comply with the majority.
That's what I was
Wouldn't
just saying.
you? Yeah,
Yeah.
wouldn't you?
It's
Yeah.
whatever ends up not swinging
Yeah.
it
Right.
one way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's the case. I'll
Yeah.
double check it, but I think so.
You'll double check that. So
Yeah.
if we struck that sentence altogether, right, because it's just about political parties here. It remains silent on any other case. It's just
Yeah.
under state statute,
Then
right?
you have to
under
follow state
minority
statute anyways.
Representation.
Well, let my pen go.
Then it's really up to the Board of Selectmen to
Well,
appoint,
vacancy, yeah.
fill the
Yeah.
vacancy with whomever. As long as it's subject to,
The majority minority.
correct.
So it doesn't have to be an unaffiliated. That
No,
gets stricken.
no,
Yeah,
correct.
okay, that's.
You
what
could
I
make it a
thought.
requirement. It would be above and beyond, but.
Right.
I don't think you wanna do that.
It's too hard, too
What
hard to
about the
find.
sentence
The best
before?
for-
Crazy.
If the individual is a member of a political party,
Yeah, because that's a state statute.
that stays, okay,
Yeah.
so it's just the last sentence.
Yeah.
I would
Right.
also recommend we get rid of and manner of filling the same in the header. Just see power to fill vacancies in elected positions. You don't need
Yeah,
and
you don't
manner
need
of
that.
filling the
Any votes?
same.
Yeah, you don't need that. I agree.
It seems a bit.
Some
Done.
Yeah.
Well, it says that you have the power to do it. The manner of filling the same is how you do it.
Right.
So it's, the power authorizes you to fill the vacancies. There is a manner that you have to process that.
But you outline that in the process here.
Yeah.
Rules.
I got it.
So we're breaking last
Just
sentence.
tighten
It was
it up.
striking the sentence and just being silent on the unaffiliated.
Yeah, because
Yes.
it's covered by Connecticut statutes anyway.
Whatever the
so.
statute says at the time.
It is,
definitely.
Is there going to be a requirement to post the vacancy and do the things we talked about before in the appointed
Oh,
section?
that's a great question.
The,
What do you think? Steve?
Well, the state statute requires you to move more quickly on elected positions.
Hmm.
So as soon as somebody submits, I don't see any problem, but a elected position would have to move quicker than we just spoke
Right,
about.
but you could still have some window of time. where you
I
post
think
it.
it's great if everybody knows there's a posting as soon as there's a vacancy.
Well, I'll tell you, this is where the parties do get involved.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the DTC and the RTC very
Yeah,
much.
This is like, some congressman going in
Yeah.
I
to the
think, just-
cabinet, I mean, the governor's, well, mainly Congress, the senator, certainly the governor appoints
yeah,
whoever they feel like appointing.
yeah,
And then that's the case until the next election.
right.
And the corrective occurs at the election.
Okay.
Russ,
Not that I like to keep things as simple as we can in this, but I'm gonna throw out there the food thought of, should it be posted?
Yes, of course.
The
Well,
same
shouldn't
mechanism
we
we're using in
say
the other one.
as applicable
It's a tighter timeframe. That's
to
the problem.
the, what we already wrote? I mean,
I don't think it
somewhere.
was for the Board of Ed right now.
Okay, I'm just throwing it out there because
And the
we're,
Board of
They
Ed was
just
state
went to,
statute that they
the
had to
DTC.
follow.
because we're defining that we have a process for the other one, for the appointed. Hey, would you not leverage the ability to get as many candidates? I just don't want to slow things up or overcomplicate it.
I think that just takes
Oh, that's
away
right.
from the authority that they have.
That's fair.
I think you're at risk of holding out false promises to residents that there really is time and a path to
Yeah.
be considered to be the replacement
Yeah.
elected official. It's only 30 days, and as Kathleen says, the political parties are going to get involved.
Right. Okay.
I just like to leave it as is. Ira, did you have a comment?
No, not on that. No, it's a different time framework. You already established that.
It's an elected position. Do we
How
have
you
to post it?
Whether
is
you
the
post
question.
it really is up to you.
Yeah, I don't think it's
The
required.
30 days shouldn't apply because the Board of Ed is excluded in the earlier part of the paragraph.
Statutory.
Right, so the Board of Ed is excluded.
Right.
We don't need to respond to their requirement in this document.
Is that, wouldn't you or not?
Yes, it says,
It's-
Yeah, it says-
except the
Yeah.
town council, board of selectmen, or board of education.
So I was a replacement.
Well,
I don't know
yeah.
if they got it done in 30 days. I don't recall.
But there's no, the 30-day requirement right now is in the Board of Ed. And the Board of Ed is excluded from this paragraph. Therefore, we shouldn't there's no reason to import the 30-day requirement.
I agree with that. And I just don't know how long it took for them
Well, what
to
happens
figure.
if there was a vacancy in the board of selectmen, Kathleen, so how did you get in?
How did I get in? Yeah, they were desperate and I, yes.
That explains it.
You're it.
No, they asked, I guess, I'm trying to think who reached out to me. A couple people did.
Yeah, but once they had
Republicans and-
decided,
Yeah,
they,
yeah.
they.
No, then it had to be voted by the Board of Selectmen. It had, by the two.
Oh, the other two had to approve it.
Yeah.
But this is going to confuse.
Yeah.
Well, what are we actually talking about here? I mean, they don't have, if this paragraph doesn't apply to the town council, the board of selectmen, or the board of ed, what does it apply to?
Town clerk, town treasurer.
Constables,
Constables.
registers.
What happens in the case of these other ones, which are much more important? Town council, selectmen, and board of ed. Board of ed has their own process, right?
Right.
So if there's a town council vacancy, what happens?
Well, we used to go back to
done that.
the
Well, let's look in the
RTC or
chat-
the
the chat.
DTC.
I believe it's not there.
I don't know if
We've
that was
done that.
required.
When the people have left town or.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I just can't speak to 30 days. That seems tight to me.
that's tight. I agree.
Yeah, there's
But is
no
that-
reason, because
Why
it's-
is that in there? Did we put that in there or did we come up with that from some other
We
precedent?
imported it from the Board of Ed. The Board of Ed has a state statute requiring 30 days.
But we don't have to.
There's no
apply
reason.
to
Ira, is there a state statute that requires us filling elected vacancies?
I don't have it in front of me. I can check it. I think there is a time element attached to the elected officers. I think there is. I can double check and get
I
back to you.
think it's 30 days.
Okay,
Wow.
I do think it
All
is
right.
30 days.
We'll get legal review on that.
Yeah.
In which case, you don't have to put it in this.
But we have to be cognizant of what this really impacts and it doesn't, who it impacts, right? And so, for instance, what.
Any elected position.
Right, but
But that's not a whole lot.
I just think this is the first selectman's duty. If something opens up, somebody's gone, first selectman has that power.
Their
Come
job.
in. I don't think we have anything to say about it. I think it's statutory.
I can answer the question on town council. There's actually a section C4-4 on vacancies
yeah,
that specifically addresses the issue. And reading it quickly, it's to basically hold a special election. I think that's what it says.
Within a
Unelected?
certain amount of days?
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
I vaguely remember that now. I think you're right.
yep. So any vacancy of the town council should be filled for the unexpired term at the next succeeding biennial town election or at a special election held on the date of the next regular state election, whichever shall first occur, provided, however, that until such election, such vacancy shall be filled by the town council. So we also put in, why I was bringing this up, was we were also looking at, for instance, treasurer. If treasurer were to become incapacitated, I think some issues there because I think the wrong language is there. That would be then the person to fill that would be by town council too. Would be put the treasurer. That's what.
Oh, under the new language.
Under the language, the new language, yes.
And that's in the statute?
Well, no, we,
That,
no, there's removal in the statute and other pieces, but I'm just saying, I
Okay.
think we should be consistent with who then
yeah.
gets this ability based upon some of these elected positions.
So Jennifer, it says town, but how would the town council come up with that person? Who's in charge of that? Like with the first selectman comes up with the person. That's easy. But town council is a group of people. How do they ever come up with that
There
person?
is a document called the Rules of the Town Council.
Yeah.
Okay. And how
I
does
don't
that
know
work?
exactly what it says, but there is a document that has all the rules.
How does that work, Jennifer? Do you know?
No, there's rules and there's basically processes outlined in these rules on how to pick these people. But it's covered by the charter in a broader base, yeah.
Yeah, it's not in the rules of the town council, because right now that if the town treasurer, God forbid, was not no
that's
longer
different.
available. I thought that's what you were talking about.
That's what I was
think
talking
you're
about.
town
No, I was talking
council.
about something like that.
Yeah,
Exactly. That's
that's what
exactly what I
I'm
was talking about.
Right, but for the town treasurer, we have nothing anywhere in terms of that, except for removal, which is by state statute, by a judge, et cetera. So
We're
for-
putting new language in to say.
So for the new
Yeah.
language, we were having for the town treasurer, if that person was become incapacitated or for some reason left,
Mhm.
that the town council would appoint someone to fulfill that role until the next
That
election
is a
cycle.
change.
Yeah, I
That is
don't
a
particularly
change.
like that.
Three
That's
point-
what's currently in that
Yeah, it's
draft.
a
I think it
change
should
because
be-
3.5 says
I'm
it's
not
to
in
the
favor
board.
of that.
No, I don't. We're not at the town treasurer yet. That's, I have to kind of
Why
revert
would
it back.
why would we do it that way? What was
So-
the rationale to do it this way?
I think the town treasurer's asked for that, and that's, it needs,
Oh.
it needs a rewrite, okay?
Oh,
So,
I think so
um,
too.
Well,
I was
the
just
town
gonna
treasurer
say,
Wants to be appointed by the town council?
If there's a vacancy.
If there's a vacancy, he believes that the
Aha.
town council should
That's
be,
interesting.
not the first one. Guys, that's the last section, and we'll take that up when
Jesus.
we do. So I have, I think with the one exception of legal review required on the, what we were just talking about in terms of filling vacancies. I think everything else is pretty much, we've agreed. Oh, no, we didn't get that. We got a tie on the,
On the
select
gender
woman.
thing.
Yes, Bill.
Kathleen, just maybe it's for Ira, but the resident and elector.
Yeah. Should
you
just
know,
be
I know we
elector.
crossed- I know we
Should be
crossed,
elector.
yeah, I know we crossed one out and they mean the same. But is the way we operate, do we parallel the way the state operates? I mean, are the sort of the rules the same? You know, if you're a day and you're running for office, whatever you have to do to comply, would that be the same as a select person? I mean, I just don't know.
So elector is a defined term, and it's basically you are a voter. You, under law, you can vote in this town.
Registered
That's
in the town of New
Yeah.
Canaan. Whereas you could have people who could live in town, but they're not necessarily
Correct. They have to
registered.
be an
here. You have to
elector.
be a registered voter in the town to be.
elector.
Yes.
Yes.
So what about if you're not, what about if you lived in a town for 40 years, and you've never registered and you haven't voted? And then
Sorry.
you decide,
Should you be appointed to a government position?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
So you'd say, no, you want to codify that?
Okay.
But
Can
but
I
there's
just
there's no ambiguity in any.
No
I just wanna make sure
ambiguity.
There's no. you know,
Unequivocal. Judy.
Can I just ask, did we agree that if it's an unaffiliated person, it could be replaced
We took
by
that sentence
either
out.
the
party,
sentence
or we
out.
took it
We took
out?
the sentence
Oh,
out.
we took
Which
it out
means it could actually
altogether.
be replaced with another unaffiliated. It's just,
Right.
it's a, based upon
That's
whatever
right.
quorum rules.
So-
That's right.
Okay.
Whoever the-
All right, ladies and gents, it's 5:21. I know that Ira has to close at 5:30. Is there anything anything we want to take advantage of the 10 minutes we have with Ira? And I'm just going over Jen's list here. We've dealt with the Board of Selectmen. We didn't address term limits.
Where is that?
Well,
I was just
this was just
looking.
the list
I
that
know,
I've been
I know,
tracking, so
I know.
it's not my list. The
Well,
only
I've
other
got-
thing I didn't put on there too, which was, we should add to that list, which was creating a Department of Works Commission as a recommendation.
Look, that was one of the things.
I mean, I do have a
Public Works?
presentation on term limits.
Really?
Let's take up term limits, okay?
Where-
So-
Okay, I'm going
What
to
page?
try and share. Oh, sharing is not turned
Oh, I will
on.
enable sharing. Please
Okay,
stand by.
so let me just,
Okay.
while they're going through that process, let me just quickly review dates ahead of us. We have a meeting next Monday, where we're gonna tackle the things that we haven't quite gotten to yet or still have left open. We'd like to get to as much as we can in terms of appointed and elected, number of people on different commissions. I don't know if police and fire were on your list too, on the 3 members versus 5, but
I think we decided that we were gonna keep them at 3.
did you? Okay.
Both?
Okay,
All
okay.
right.
That we took
They-
off the table.
And so
But
I'd
we
like
were-
to get as many of these through so that when we do meet for our public hearing, and I know that not everybody can be with us the following day on the 14th, 5 o'clock, public hearing. We
Yes,
have a
on the
public hearing. It
14th.
generally goes for 30 minutes, and really not that much more typically. And then we'll roll back into continuing our edits. Sorry.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Don't-
Oh, yeah.
You did what?
It's fine. It's fine.
Cross my fingers, it would be 30 minutes.
Oh, I doubt it.
Well,
You
wait, I
think?
haven't put a start time for the
Yeah.
regular meeting, so we'll just
Okay.
roll right into whatever. time
And
it is.
Monday's 4 o'clock again, right?
Monday on the 13th is at 4 p.m.
4 and then
That's correct.
5 on Tuesday.
5 on
Public
Tuesday.
hearing.
Yeah, public hearings at 5 o'clock. 5.
Okay, and then, so it's 5 to 7 on Tuesday.
Yeah, unless somebody's gonna
Unless
take
it-
this room again. So, yeah, we're always pushing up against that.
Well, we could be in here for public
Karen
hearing
Park,
the
is
whole
it,
time.
are you already scheduled for P and Z on the 14th? Do you happen to remember that date? Because I know it's later in the month. It's later in the month. Okay, good. I think we might be okay. All right, are we ready to show? We are.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right, I'm going to turn over the
Okay.
second topic this morning was on term limits. And so Angela.
So this is really just a summary of what we discussed and some ideas that we came up with. Oops, sorry, flipping ahead here. So just to remind you that last time we discussed this, I think it was the March 24th meeting, the sense of the CRC was that 6 commissioners wanted to explore term limits further. So they were leaning towards term limits, but some had some reservations, others had different reservations. And 5 commissioners were not in favor of term limits at all. So that's where we were. So I took a quick look at term limits for appointed bodies in Fairfield County. And quite honestly, the situation varies from town to town. And you can find an example that supports whatever your point of view might be. But we do have towns like Fairfield where the charter specifies no more than 2 successive full terms. Wilton, the charter specifies no more than 10 consecutive years. Darien, there's nothing in the charter that specifies term limits. And Westport specifies no more than 2 consecutive terms or 8 consecutive years, whichever is greater. Ridgefield has no term limits specified in the charter. The same for Stamford, but there is an ordinance that says that public members of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board of Trustees may serve no more than 2 3-year terms. Norwalk, no term limits in the charter, but there is an ordinance that restricts membership of P&Z to 5 consecutive 3-year terms. And New Canaan, as we know, currently term limits only for audit committee. So the conclusion I drew was that, you know, sometimes you have something in the charter, sometimes you might have something in ordinances. That's another way that towns can go. But really, there's a lot of variation. So moving on, just a list of some options for CRC to consider on term limits. And, you know, they're not mutually exclusive. Number 1, no term limits for any appointed body. 2, term limits for only some boards or commissions. 3, term limits for all or some appointed bodies by number of consecutive terms. And number 4 is the same as 3, except that it's by number of years of consecutive service. We could think about permitting members to be eligible for reappointment after a 1-year, for example, break or some other period. Term limits could be enacted via ordinance rather than the charter. Another option that I know some commission members are leaning towards is that they would like to see a rotation of a chair in place of or in addition to some variant of term limits. And then lastly, enhance the appointment process in place of or in addition to some variant of term limits. So we've had a good discussion of enhancing the appointment process. And this really just summarizes a few possibilities. I think we've really talked about a lot of this. I would like to see a guide on the website to serving on boards and commissions so that people really know what they're getting into. You get given something once you're sworn in, but not beforehand.
You might scare people away,
Yeah,
though.
people knew what they were getting themselves in for that.
I think that's overkill. I think it's not going to make sense until you.
The all report got
So
started.
I think it's very important to know if you're on Board of Finance, how many meetings you're going to
Oh,
have in terms of
Well,
the
I
budget.
agree. Well, that's true of all of them, though. I think
Exactly.
especially the
Yeah.
budget season. But you're talking more than that. You're talking about like defining the whole thing. I'm not
Well,
sure.
just some guidelines.
Well, that's,
Yeah.
yeah,
Some
availability
towns have
for.
that. Some
yeah.
towns do that
Yeah.
currently.
More so than
We are very
Schedule.
scarce, very scant in what we put on our website regarding appointed bodies.
There are packets. When I did mine, I saw the same where it says it's high level. It's, but it does talk about here's what it is, here's what it does, here's the time frame, here are the time commitment obligations.
I think the time commitment obligations is really important, but what's the rest of it?
High level, what the
Function, the
commission
role, what they do.
function is, what its mission is,
How
those
many
sort
The
of
members
things.
mission?
there are.
Yeah, as defined by the charter, it's
Well,
very
that
high
should
level
be on,
documents.
that should automatically be on there.
But someone
But
may
so the
make-
difference is not the detail, the difference is putting it on the website?
Yeah, and if you take a layperson who hasn't steeped themselves as we have in this, they may not even know where to find it in the charter or where to go. You just surface it in the one-page document that explains, here's what it is.
Okay, keep moving. Yep.
So that's basically it, I think. Yep. So
Go back to the consideration. Okay.
this one.
The first one, yeah. So the first one, no term limits, and we sort of opened that conversation up 2 meetings ago. No term limits for any appointed. We did a straw poll. I'm going to just put a caveat there. No term limits for any appointed body. We do have an appointed body that does have term limits.
Right.
And so,
That doesn't count.
and this, maybe it falls then to the second one, term limits only for some boards and commissions. So it's some sort of combination thereof. Is there any reason why, I guess one that perhaps we can put forward, some that we can just like cross off easily?
Well, you
The
could.
rotation
pick
of
one.
the chair. We
There's
can
no,
do one.
there's
We
no
can do one.
particular reason why audit was singled out for term limits.
It was just in the formation
Yeah, it was
stage,
just the
right?
formation,
Right.
so you could, there's no reason why they should be singled out.
I agree.
Yeah, you could eliminate it, or you could
So
leave
I
it.
think we should go to no term limits for anything.
Well, I think if you
Including-
alternate chairman,
including,
you could probably get away with that. If you
well-
don't, then maybe it has. to
Okay,
be
Russ.
The only-
considered.
Let me, Russ and Joe.
So I'm with Chris only in the reason that I believe in things should start as ordinance to begin with and have the elected people, not necessarily us, it's appointed individuals, have the elected town council. If they want to put term limits in, they could do that at the next town council meeting and put an ordinance out there.
Okay.
For everyone?
Well, for those that they see that it's most important for or relevant.
On the list of ordinances, they should be looking at Joe and then
Yeah,
Todd.
yeah,
and then
dream
Steve-
on,
and then
right?
Steve.
Chris's point on audit, about 20 years ago, corporations moved to term limits on auditors, and they must rotate, I think it's every 7
That's right.
years.
I
And the
sure
partner.
did, yeah.
There was a whole rationale why it was based out of the Enron scandal.
Mhm.
So
As
the
a
idea
partner,
of
not
term
the
limits for
company.
auditors, I think, is
Yeah.
really now accepted.
It's the partner, not the company, but yeah.
No, the company. The partners and the companies have to rotate.
Nope.
No.
They changed it? Okay.
The audit-
In Europe, it's the company.
Yeah.
In the United States, they,
Okay.
so it's.
There's not a lot of auditing companies. Okay, sorry. Todd?
Final.
Yeah, no, I agree, Chris. I think it's gotta be uniform. And I think our town has shown that we're sort of self-policing with term limits. We do it on our own. So why would we put in a regulation that doesn't need to do anything? We saw the chart. Very few, if anybody past 10 years. So, I don't see-
Steve?
I'll counterpoint of view. I feel like the land use commissions are all elected here or appointed here appointed here. And to me, land use touches on so many people that I would see a term limit on the land use commissions being effective because we have so many that are appointed in those very, very important areas. So I'm, I guess, somewhere
Number
around
two.
number 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Some
Rotated or appointed or both?
What do you mean by rotated?
Well, rotated in the sense that if they're on 5 years.
No,
they
I
go
would
Off a year, or you're talking permanently?
If I was going to make a proposal, I would say nobody can serve more than 3 consecutive terms and then they sit out a term.
That's
And then
what I
they,
thought you meant. but
and
it's
then
not-
they can come back on after a full term. And I've been on 2 appointed volunteer boards and it, the second time around, served exactly the same way. You had to sit out a term.
Steve,
It worked well?
and I want to underline term, not a year. Sit out a
Term.
term.
I would
not a-
sit
Would
at
be 2
term.
years. Yeah.
No.
No, it'd be
Or be
three.
three, yeah,
So
you're
three
right.
consecutive terms would be,
Yeah,
for instance,
9
on
years.
planning and zoning would be 9 years. Then you come off for 3 years and then
And
you could go back.
on as.
Well,
for
you
9
should,
years.
you should go off as an alternate term because you're gonna be reappointed as an alternate. Because
have
otherwise,
to
See,
be-
that's
You
the
don't
part
have
of
to
it.
no, it's horribly unfair to the alternate.
I
know,
agree.
it happens though.
It does
shouldn't
happen,
happen.
but it should.
That should not
Yeah,
happen.
it
Well,
shouldn't
that happened with the chairman of the Board of
You're
Finance.
right.
I know.
I think it's gonna be so rare that somebody's gonna come back. It's been 9 years, taking off 3. The odds of that person coming back,
Yeah, or zilch. Yeah.
for me, once you're off, you're like, thank God.
But then you're gone. and-
So that's why I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, I'm not too worried, but I think it's, 2 years, but whether it's 2 or 3, it's irrelevant, because they're not coming back.
I agree.
Okay,
I mean,
Jennifer.
they had to beg Todd to come back,
I
and that's
support,
because they wanted to have.
No,
somebody
he was
on.
coming back anyway,
Jennifer.
but
I support Steve's proposal. I think it's actually a good one. I know we all looked at that term analysis thing, but what I saw in there is, especially when I had a team of people, I had teams of people at various stages. And some of these boards and commissions have people who've been there for a while and only been there for a short period of time. There seems to be churn on the lower levels. And what you want to do is sort of build basically a succession plan that's going on. And so I think from what I've seen, some of these people, like the parking commission, they're all about the same time. But some of these other boards, for instance, like P and Z or some of these other ones, there's a couple of people who've been there a long time, and then you're seeing constant churn. So I agree with Steve's proposal. I support what you're saying, yeah. I think it's smart. And it doesn't mean that they can't go beyond another board
No,
or whatever
Yeah.
entity.
I would almost encourage.
Yeah, and that's where you can share your knowledge of maybe that area. Yeah.
Judy,
I think that makes sense. Yeah, I like that motion.
you mean there's a few appointed bodies out there that you want to consider having?
I would
term limits?
consider land use for sure.
Land
I'd
use.
have to think about any others.
And I believe Steve defined land use as ZBA, inland wetlands, and planning and zoning, not conservation commission we established because they do deal with land use.
Why
of
would
land.
you include ZBA?
They're a land use body.
Well, not to the same degree, I guess I'd have to say.
I don't know. it
ZBA
well
is
enough to-
more
Yeah.
sort of like enforcement type things.
It's also asking for variances to regulations. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
I guess,
So you have
yeah.
a fence, you would
You're
like
right.
to
No, that's
instead
true.
have
Special
it
No,
permits,
that's
right?
10 feet versus 8 feet, or you
Zoning.
would like to have.
It is,
Zoning.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's not
zoning.
the same as P and Z, but yes, I think you're
It
right.
is zoning.
Yeah, it is
I think
zoning.
you're right.
Yeah.
I know.
Angela.
So I would prefer not to have term limits for any appointed body. I think we are grasping for a solution to a problem that isn't really one here in New Canaan. When you look at the data that shows the diversity of length of time that individual members have been on appointed bodies. And what I would say is that, yeah, there are probably too many people who have been there only a short period of time. And that churn, unfortunately, happens. There are people that get onto boards and commissions, and for whatever reason, their life changes, or they find that this board or commission isn't for them, they leave much sooner than you would like. And I think it is important to build expertise, particularly on land use, P and Z, and by having term limits, we are going to diminish, I believe, the quality of decision making, because those with the greatest expertise are not going to be around. And I do not believe that the boards and commissions are being dominated in the discussion and decision making by the people who've been around for a long time.
We're going to go to Joe for just a second, but I just want to clarify something. Just because you see a number of folks on these boards and commissions with shorter terms than the ones at the top of the list, doesn't mean there's churn going on there. It means some of the more senior folks are rolling off, and these are new people that are replacing them. So it's not.
But to that
necessarily-
point, no, I'm going to push on that a bit, because up to that point, I'm looking at all these terms. There are people who have 2 or 3 terms. You don't see 10, 5, 2. you see a lot of.
I thought I saw a pretty good distribution.
There, some of these don't have good distributions, yeah.
For the most part. Okay, sorry, Joe.
I like Steve's proposal because I think it provides some clarity, it provides some balance,
Mhm.
and it simplifies the issue. So I'd be in favor of it.
Okay.
I like the proposal as well, but I thought we were gonna discuss whether some of these should be elected or not. You know, like,
We haven't done that
We haven't
yet.
got that.
Haven't
That's
done
gonna
that,
be
so
when
I-
we get to the articles.
so I'm wondering whether we should park this discussion a little bit. And I would say, I know the audit committee, you know, if we were to make that selected by the town council, I think my answer would be different than if it was selected by the first
I agree
selectman.
with
So,
I agree.
you know, I'm not, so, because I'm really concerned about the independence.
I am too, which is why I'm not
Yeah.
comfortable with
Okay, Russ,
Yeah.
thank you.
appointed.
I am still torn on this, but I don't think the data supports, I'm in kind of what Kathleen and Angela are saying. I don't think that the data supports changing. I think we're manufacturing something that's a problem that isn't necessarily a problem. The only thing, and in the meetings that I've sat in or watched, I haven't seen a domineering of these people who've been there for, you know, the longest members. I haven't seen them forcing themselves upon others, on their fellow commissioners or board members. So it feels like we're making, and I really do believe that town council has the ability, if they want to put for a specific one, if there is a problem, term limits. They could do that right now. And it's not locked in for 10 years.
That's eternal.
Is Ira still here? Sorry, Todd.
Same as what Justice said.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I'm sort of still in the same camp I was several days ago, hard to see I'm more status quo, as you've heard. However, I was an advocate for term limits on the audit committee. So I can see why having some of them on other boards and commissions, not all, would be appropriate. But I will also say, I'm really long. I'm like 5 terms, 15 years. I'm not 2. I'm saying if we're gonna put something down there, I would say,
Well, I think.
5 terms.
I think.
Especially for land use, because it takes so long to really follow what's going on there, so.
Yeah, but I think once you, just to kind of support what you're saying, once you get, whether it's 12 or 15,
Yeah.
when you get to that really long.
Yeah.
Then it gets to the point about, whoever put the point down there about the chairperson. And if that person's the chairperson and, he or she is getting up to the end of their tenure, they should be grooming somebody else.
Yeah.
So I
That's a
think that's, I
logical
think
thing.
there's,
Yeah.
I think we can improve what we're doing by cobbling together a few of these things, but I go back to what I said earlier. Maybe come back at this at the end if we got everything else in place. We might be fixing, if we decide half of these land use committees to be elected, maybe we just leave it the way it is.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen, but we'll say, I'm comfortable with term limits for selected bodies. But if this group decides that it's gonna be 2 terms or even 3 terms, I'm a no. I beg your pardon?
Term is 3 years.
The term is
Some
3
of them are
years,
4
but in
and
some
5,
cases,
right?
Board of Finance is 4.
Some of them
Yeah.
are 4 years, so I mean,
Yeah.
but I understand.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But, especially for P and Z, I mean, the, POCDs every 10 years, you gotta have some sort of, follow, so. Okay, how do we propose that?
Well, do you have to specify here which
On the
ones?
issue that a few people have touched on, which is this rotating chair. I mean, it sounds great, but if you have a great chair, you don't want to rotate that person out. I mean,
Can
look
we
at,
start on
look
that?
at PNC. They've had 2 great chairs.
Yeah.
Three
chairs.
Yeah, well, go back to Laszlo.
Who returned?
Yes. Since the Board of Finance was asked to have a chair, we had 1 chair the very first year, and then he stepped off, and then they brought in Todd. Todd's been in there now 9 years, 10 years. You wouldn't want to have anybody else except Todd Levieri as chair of the Board of Finance
Okay. So,
right now. So to say that, okay, sorry, guy, because, we've decided that we need to have rotation, that is.
Okay, let's start with that vote. Okay, so number 7 here, rotate
muddies the
chair.
waters.
Let's just do a quick round robin here.
So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So a chair is chosen every year by the board itself.
They're voted, yeah.
That's right. I
They're
think that
voted.
exists. It's in the charter.
Right, okay.
It's up to the board themselves. So.
And if that person they don't come off, they're just no longer chair.
Yeah.
Is that what you're thinking was, Judy, when you were sort of talking
Well,
about that?
Yeah.
I just want to be sure.
I could do
understand
it.
what
I could do
Your
it.
idea was.
Yeah, but if you're gonna, for instance, rotate a chairman every 5 years, hopefully they'd stay on. But my experience is if you're gonna rotate them, they may say enough.
Well, but what I'm
Um,
saying is in the charter itself today, these people are elected on an annual basis, even though
That's
they have a multi-term. So
Correct.
are you proposing a change to that concept? Or are you proposing still to keep just this annual rotation? You do your 1 year as chair of ABC and then you're off? I'm just.
No,
wanna
I
be
would,
clear.
I would,
Yeah,
I
but,
would,
yeah,
Let her
every
finish,
year-
please.
Yeah.
no, I would elect them every year. But
Okay.
I think if you're gonna rotate, it would be wouldn't be every couple of years. It'd be like 5 or so years.
Okay.
So the question, and I'm gonna look to Chris because he's always good about doing this. If we, let's say, leave the status quo, which is we let the charter decide, the charter is the one that says every board and commission elects their own chair on an annual basis. Status quo, no changing, no formalizing a process of putting a term limit on a chair. Okay, so status quo is there's no term limit on chairs. They're elected each year. And that would be if someone would be kind enough to make a motion on the status quo.
I
So,
wouldn't do that. I think you have to go through each one, don't you? I don't think you want to lump them all together.
yeah, maybe you're
I'm just
gonna,
picking one
but the thing
thing.
is, you're gonna have
I just
bizarre
want to see if
votes.
we.
Well, I'm
we
just not
stick with
sure
that or
where
not.
it belongs. Does it belong here or does it belong in each individual commission?
Can I just say, so Judy, if you're proposing what you're
Yeah.
proposing, then we would have to go through every commission.
Yeah.
And alter that, and to get rid of that annual rotation and base it upon the commission. So that's why I was asking you these questions.
Well, I don't know. Would you have to do that anyway? Because they
No.
have
No, this is
separate-
just a standard.
All
This is
right,
just
okay,
a- just
all
a
right.
chair.
I'll
Okay,
make the
Steve.
motion to
yeah.
leave things the same.
Okay.
In terms of the rotating.
Okay,
chair.
Steve Case making
Okay.
a motion and Chris, you're
I'll
seconding.
second it. So
And
no rotating chairs, however the chairman is picked per charter,
Stays as it
per
is.
committee,
Yes,
stays.
yeah,
All right, I second that.
okay. And all those in favor?
No.
No, we're gonna do
yeah,
a- we're
okay,
gonna do a
okay, we're gonna go
roll
roll call, sorry. I do that every
Okay.
time. Thank you, Chris.
So, Mr. Case,
Yes.
okay, Ms. Corbett,
Yes.
Ms. Holm,
Yes.
Ms. Jameson, yes, Mr. Kimes,
Yes.
Mr. Lampert,
Yes.
Mr. Labris,
Yes.
okay, Miss Neville,
Yes.
Mr. Pallo.
Yeah.
Mr. Perrette,
Yes.
Not to die.
and Miss Willett isn't here, so.
Okay, so
So that was
unanimous.
unanimous.
So strike number 7. We don't have that issue. Okay, good. How many more can we knock off here? Let's see. How about, we've already talked about enhancing the appointment process. We're going to be doing that. 8 is off. Yes.
Why don't we, for the sake of a trial balloon, let's put this motion out.
Okay.
That there will be term limits for all boards and commissions, limited to the lesser of 5 terms or 15 years.
Okay, now question, what do you do with someone who's already there for 15 years? What happens to that
We'll write,
person?
The next time.
we'll write a codicil to that after you.
Or the next time.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
let's vote on the basis, and then that's a codicil to it, and we'll just write a sentence.
5 years
to-
of 50,
5 years.
5 terms of 15 years, so if it's a 5-year term, if it's a 5-year term, I think we have 1 5, then it's 3 terms?
Yeah, and we're
Lesser of, lesser of.
yeah, but there's no 5 years, so
Is
the
there
Board
one?
of Finance.
There is,
Yes,
the housing
there is.
authority is 5
Oh,
years.
so, okay,
Yeah.
so we can for
But
them,
that's fine.
Board of Finance, you'd have to fudge it a little bit, because you're either gonna end up with 12 or 16,
Figure it out.
but we'll figure that out. So the principle is
Long cap.
law.
But why do you need to specify 5 terms? Why not just 15 years? Because 5 terms is never greater than 15, I
Yeah,
don't
that's true.
think.
That's right. So we could just say, so we could just make it even simpler and go through term limits.
5 years.
15 years.
15 years. And to accommodate the Board of Finance, let's make it 16. That way you don't have to futz with the Board of Finance.
Although you'd have to like reappoint somebody for 1 year.
No, because they're 4-year terms.
But you
No,
know,
but the people in the 3 year.
Everybody else would have to.
Well, let's agree on the principle.
Yeah.
And then if there's an odd person out or something, then we'll,
One question. Concurrent or cumulative? Cumulative, or can they have a break and then that clock starts again?
oh, I think the clock starts again.
Okay.
After 16 years?
Yeah, you do 16 years, you take,
But they gotta be off, but they have to be off for. a
they
term.
never come.
You have to be off for a term.
Terms. They're off
16
for
years.
5
never
years,
comes
so
back.
after the 20th year, if he wants to run again, let him.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Can you do a
Cat.
Can you do a 401K if you?
you know,
I
I'm
had
not,
to ask
I'm
for the
not
sake of
sure
clarity.
this is work. If you're going 15, 16 years, why are we even considering this? How many people have stayed more than 15, 16 years without a break?
You
Who've
ever
been
watched
begged to come back?
Dan
I think
Moore.
there's
Well,
only
that's
one
true.
person actually on the list who's been on their
Consecutive.
current board more than 15
Yeah, I know
consecutive
who you're
years.
talking about, yeah.
And I don't think it's a real problem that needs addressing. Why even bother? As
At
Judy
12
says.
years, I'd probably have more interest, but at 15, why
Well, you
bother?
do 15 because what you're basically saying
know.
is,
I get
okay,
it.
if you have to have term limits, here we have something, the placeholder, maybe future people can think about it, but for the time being, it's a non-issue.
I think it's
I just think,
non-issue.
I think we're,
Yeah, we're correct.
well, I mean, I do think, I mean, I like having a term limit. You know, I like having a term limit. I wish we could have it in
Not that
Washington
long.
for everybody, okay?
Yeah.
But, you know, I do think that we're undervaluing the importance of a chairperson and the senior people in terms of driving the outcome of a committee result. You know, so I'm in favor of term limits, and I wouldn't mind it being a little bit shorter than I like 15
Shorter
better than
might be
16, I like
better.
13, so but you know, I could get to probably any of those numbers.
Well, it'd be 12 years if you did 4 terms.
Yeah, yeah.
So then let's just think about how that plays out. I
12
have to
years.
think.
It's-
You know, it really is difficult to recruit people to be on boards and commissions. And P&Z is not easy because of the time commitment that's involved, the need to really kind of learn what it's all about. And I do think that building up that expertise over time
But you know,
is
12
important.
years.
but
That's
just,
long.
but
12
stay
years
in
is
age,
a
right? Maybe
I think.
everybody looks at the
Yeah.
numbers. Everybody sees numbers differently, right? So when I look at those numbers in P and Z, I mean, I heard all of that, then I looked at the numbers last week whenever we looked at them. And there's so many people with, you know, there are a couple of people with, you know, I don't know what the numbers were, 14, 13, 12 years experience. They got all that. But then the people with 2 and 3 years experience, you know, either they're not contributing because they only have 2 or 3 years, or they haven't learned yet. That's what I see in the numbers. Everybody sees different things in the numbers. So, and I really do believe that chair people can stifle. They can all, you know, and that's been my experience.
Well, I don't think it's the experience here amongst appointed boards and commissions that the chair is stifling. I think the chair takes the role of coordination and ensuring that everybody gets a chance to put their point of view.
Taking P and Z, for example. I mean, if you have, I don't know Mr. Radman, and I really don't know Sarah enough to know about them, but if you take those two, I mean, they have to have a bond and a relationship. That's, you know, anyways, that's my.
Okay. Okay. I'm starting to switch to the other side here. Okay,
It doesn't feel like we're gonna get there in 7 minutes.
in 7 minutes. Yeah.
We're all right. I mean, we don't need hours to do this.
No, he's already left. He's gone. Yeah. Okay, I don't, is there any reason to push this off? I'd hate to do that. I think that this
Have a vote
needs to
on
be
it.
decided. Yeah, I think we're gonna
I'll
go there.
modify it to 12.
I beg your pardon?
I'll modify it to 12. That'll sharpen it up a little bit. and
That
then
makes more sense.
That'll bring the insects out of the wall. We'll see what we do.
I second the motion.
Okay, so the motion is.
12 years.
The
For
motion is
all boards and
for
commissions.
all boards and commissions? Okay. for all boards-
Appointed boards.
For all-
Consecutive.
Consecutive.
Second, that's right, because they can still
I
come back.
second the motion.
Okay, and then what?
Yeah.
am I
Okay,
doing?
let's do Steve,
Yes.
Kathleen,
No,
Jennifer,
Yes.
Angela, no. Sorry, I'm not being very formal. Russ,
Yes.
Todd,
No.
Chris,
No.
okay, Judy,
Yes.
Joe.
Time out. Did you just vote against your motion?
Yeah.
you can do that.
You could do that. All you're doing is getting a motion to the floor and then you get to vote.
Perfectly fine.
Okay.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, yes. I vote yes. Thank you.
Okay, Bill.
Yes.
And Karen isn't here. So yeses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yeses. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 noes.
Okay, so the motion carries all boards and commissions. Term limits, did we say 12 years?
12.
Or did we say 3?
No.
No,
No.
12.
12
years.
Consecutive years.
And then if you're on an existing one, you're over 12 years, you get to finish your term,
Finish your
obviously, right?
No, you get boot.
No.
No,
you-
I'm only kidding.
I don't care, don't matter to me.
Can I just ask a question just to clear
We're
my
getting
own
silly,
mind?
yeah.
If you had maximum number of years for a chairman, would that alter what we just voted on? Just
Nope.
think is everybody okay with that? Because
Yeah.
that could make a difference. Okay, all right. Just a thought.
Yeah, no, that's a good
All right.
question.
Now, well, I think we should put the codicil in, which is, what do we do with anybody who's currently serving
They
and
finished.
whose term will go?
They just finished.
They finished the
So
term.
do we have to state that?
Their grandfather did.
Yeah, we'd have to, definitely have to put that in there.
Yeah.
They finished their term.
And
Anyone,
that's it, yeah.
Yeah.
So at the end of that term, then if they are at the 12-year or plus, then they're subject to the term limit.
Forced retirement.
Forced retirement.
They're probably saving their life. For 12 years.
how many does that apply? We'll have to just do the
I
math.
can tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Remember I have the chair.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, so I can look that up.
So what did you do? You already did this?
I
mean, you already have the-
No, I went to
Flare-ups.
remember the
Okay.
town clerk and I have mapped out
All right, let me think
everything.
this, could I, one more question on the audit committee, which is a 3-year term, 9 years. That would be actually increased to 12.
Well,
Yeah.
so it is. I think that's fine.
Yeah, I don't think it needed to be only 3.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
that's
I
fine.
think it's fine.
Yeah.
So now that gets, yes, those folks get caught up in the new.
Yeah.
The new motion.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, we can take that up in terms of just what the impact is here, but I think it's less than a handful, right?
Listen, a handful.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else on that list that you had up? I think we hit all of them, right? That you had up, Angela?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me
No,
share
that's
again.
okay. I think we tackled them all.
Yeah.
And what we'll
Yes.
do is, the question is whether or not we adopt that language into the general section, Article 2, or we embody it in each of the articles.
Individually and.
Individually, we'll figure that out, but,
Well, if you
Well,
put
that's
it-
what
if you put it
I
in
asked,
each-
yeah.
If you put in each article,
yeah,
wouldn't you have to have the referendum on each article?
no,
Mm,
no,
No.
it's
think
just
so.
the fact, no, it's one,
But
it's
is-
one
is it-
ballot
is
item.
it-
One concept.
Yeah.
Is it necessary to repeat it in each of each appointed bodies was my question.
There's a lot of things that are repeated, like,
Okay, all right, I just.
minimum
Powers and
representation.
duties,
Yeah.
ethics code.
Right,
All right.
So.
I
yeah.
think, in the interests of signposting and making things clear for somebody who just kind of wants to hone in on a specific board or commission, it's good to have
Yeah.
all those
Okay, all right.
basic
I just-
structural
why I couldn't
items
think
in there.
This is
Yeah.
the right place for. it.
Yeah, okay, I think
Okay.
that, yes, Steve.
Can I also suggest, I mean, I don't think this is codifiable, but anybody that is impacted by this, thank the Lord for their service, and that I would encourage them to get a similar role on another commission. And I know Chris's point that historically the alternates are expected to take over, but I almost think that should be the best person regardless of whether they're the alternate or not. And if someone is a 12-year veteran of a technical area, their experience is great. And I hope they can get appointed.
And I am the
elsewhere.
exception to that rule. When I came back on, I came on as a regular member, so there is a
That's why the Board of
precedent. I'm not,
Finance-
yes, I
So
came
did
on. as-
Todd.
Pardon?
So did Todd.
I mean,
Yes, that's what I'm saying. We have precedent.
It-
And
it-
I don't know
exists
in any
now.
other
You can leave
commission,
from.
maybe.
Yeah,
Well,
I
no,
think that's
certainly
grossly
Laszlo.
unfair. I'd just like to say,
To the
for the
alternates.
record, I think that's grossly unfair
To do
to
what?
high quality alternates that are really, hoping to
think so.
become regular members.
I think the best person should be appointed
And who
regardless.
decides who the best
chair.
person is?
The chair and the
first
board of,
selectmen, if
the
they're-
The board of
selectmen and the
selectmen.
town
Or-
council.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I agree
Um,
with
But you
I-
know what, time
Best
out here,
person.
but time out, because if you think about this, if you're now rolling people on 12, right? There is gonna be more movement in these groups, but then we'll give more opportunity, right? At that point.
it's fresh.
Yeah.
It's a fresher perspective.
I think we did conclude that the person finishes their term.
Yes.
We could say, or at least 2 years. Because I am, a little
Yeah,
concerned.
that could be
Here we
a-
are in
yeah.
April, like third,
It's December, yeah.
yeah,
right,
so I
yeah.
mean, maybe.
But no less than
Maybe
2 years.
Jennifer, you ought to take a look at that. and
Yeah.
We could write that, so it's at least
Yes,
Smart.
16 or 18 or 20 months or something,
Yep.
It doesn't happen tomorrow.
Just
morning,
gives
so-
time for transition properly.
And to the first selectman to find a replacement for the chair. Yeah.
And that can
Well, I mean,
happen.
I realize they don't pick the chair, but the committee.
it's
has
the
to-
longer of 2 years or the rest of their term, something like that.
Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
okay.
That's assuming this goes through
Angela,
town
what was the
council and the vote
on
too.
on the term limits?
What,
It was 6-4, right?
yes.
And who voted how?
Let me just make sure I got this. So Steve was yes for the term limit of 12 consecutive years. Jennifer was yes. Russ was yes. Judy was yes. Joe was yes. Phil was yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the no's were Kathleen, Angela, Todd, and Chris. Does that sound right to everybody? Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
And even if Karen came in and.
It would not have
Yeah.
affected the vote.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Okay, all right, thank you for that. We are, let's see, can we get minutes done, guys?
Yeah, that's
I would
quickly
love
done.
to do that, yeah. And again, I'm gonna put the agenda together. It's gonna probably go out by Thursday for the Monday meeting. Who's here on Monday? I know some people are taking holiday.
On Zoom. We're gonna
Your Zoom, okay, all right, I think Karen's back, actually. Okay,
Did we get the April 1 meeting minutes?
No.
no, so
Okay,
that's.
so this is the
this
two of the three, yeah.
Yeah.
Which two are these?
So, well, right now on the agenda, I have March 24th and 25th. They have been posted, the drafts have been posted up there now for more than a week. Did we get comments on those?
For March 24th, I got comments some time ago from Judy, who wanted me to use the exact language
Verbatim.
that she said for her motion, and that's the last paragraph under appointed or elected P and Z commission.
Can I
No.
just ask, so that I got the exact language totally fine. Is it also said that, that motion was withdrawn?
It says no vote was taken on the motion, which was deferred until after the CRC had voted on appointment versus election at its meeting on March 25th.
So you withdrew your
Where is
motion.
this?
And then
I wanna
on
just
in
read it again. I
the
know I read it,
25th,
but-
you withdrew your motion.
Okay, the
Yes.
24th, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, that's fine. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
The 25th.
Yeah.
Sorry, Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
Of course,
yes, yeah.
On the March 24th meeting, the statements attributed to me in the round robin were totally incorrect.
Okay,
Just- They were just statements that didn't, I don't have 26 years in town service. That was one of the statements that was attributed to me.
that's
So
it.
I-
That was me.
That was you, right, but it was attributed, I was.
Mr.
lumped in.
Hello. Can you just point me, please,
There's
Joe?
a section called the round robin comments where.
This is
each-
on the 24th.
Each commissioner was asked to make some statements.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
The statements attributed to me didn't read like anything I said.
Well, Mr. Pallo said that the CRC should consider what the people want and that the issue of appointment versus election should be put to the electorate.
Oh,
That
that's,
summary?
that's different than the version I saw. That's acceptable. That's okay. That's okay.
That's okay,
That's
okay.
okay.
Yeah,
Now I was
that's
looking
always
at an
been
older
in that. That's always been in these draft minutes.
I had a draft that said something different.
Oh.
Which,
Okay,
an earlier draft.
so we've got those changes in.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, we have, okay,
And
health and
then-
care- oh, you have motion changes too?
And that was March 25th, Bill. This is what you give me.
The 24th as well was the,
Well, yeah,
I sent you the ones yesterday, right now. 24th was, I went to the tape and I was hoping about the recusal process.
Oh, the Jennifer,
Yeah,
Jennifer
that wasn't in the
recited.
minutes. I thought it should be. I just went to the tape and wrote it down.
Is it in
And
there?
I showed it, then since it was
I should
related,
go back and look.
and if I showed. it-
The 24th, yeah, he submitted it. Okay, so what Bill had suggested for changes to the is it May 24th, March
No, March
24th?
24th.
March 24th was basically everything that Jennifer had commented on regarding the ZBA, et cetera. And then also included my response.
I'll make a motion with those changes.
Okay, second, did you get that, Karen, that Todd Lampert made a motion? Russ seconded, all those in favor with the minutes for the
Aye.
24th? Aye, any opposed? You're opposing?
No.
Oh, okay,
No.
okay. Okay, all right, motion passes, that's the 24th, thank you, 25th,
The 25th, I gave it to Angela a little while ago. I had one paragraph, I have a copy, and it really just talks about, we took the vote on P and Z, and I was trying to get us to hold off until we got more information. And I just put that in, at the December 14th meeting, and I just put that in there. It was a little bit tough, so I got a little feedback and I modified it a little bit.
Adjustment to your own words.
Was that inserted?
So why don't we read it so we know what you put in?
Read that out. Yeah, I have it. I gave Angela 5 copies. And whatever.
why don't you read it?
Just read it out loud so I can make a motion on it.
Bill.
Yeah, I don't have the beginning, but it says stated taking a vote now has not allowed enough public input. We all knew that once we sent the postcards out, the response would be suboptimal. Timing and emails would have been better. But we were precluded from doing that by the town. We had a public hearing on the 14th, so I really think holding off until that time is appropriate. And then I made a motion.
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with his changes.
That's his own notes,
Yes,
and I remember it.
yep,
roughly
me
doing
too.
that.
Yep.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of the.
Oh, who seconded? Who?
Russ did.
Russ Times?
Okay, and
Motion by
Todd
Tom
Lampert
Lampert,
made the
second.
motion.
Yep,
I did.
Yep.
okay, all those in favor to pass the minutes of March the 25th, say aye. Any opposed? Any abstained? Okay, great. Now, March 31st, I don't have it on this agenda for some reason, that's my bad. But I do have April 1st, but we haven't posted those yet.
No,
or
well,
didn't
March
get enough time.
31st was posted sort of earlier this afternoon, so no
Okay.
one's had a chance to look at
How about
those.
the group one minutes?
Let's do, okay, so the 31st and the April 1st will be taken up at our next meeting next Monday. Minutes from the group one, do you have any minutes you have to review and approve?
We do,
And
I'm
it's
just-
only group one.
It was the 11th and the,
17th.
yeah,
This is March.
yes.
Will we have minutes for our meeting on the 26th? We had a very short meeting.
Oh,
Yes.
those are not posted yet.
Those are not posted yet. Okay.
Okay, has your group members seen those minutes?
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Okay,
comments have been received. There,
we don't get comment, just group one is going to vote
yeah,
on
so
that.
were there,
Okay.
did you guys have any?
In comment.
Back, no comment.
You will
So-
come back.
So
I'm
give me
I'm
the
fine.
dates.
Okay.
Oh, so March 11th, March 17th, is that correct?
Yes.
17th or 18th, I just,
17th, St. Patrick's Day.
okay.
Okay, and so I've moved that we approve them.
So there's just two dates, 11th and 17th.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Approve.
Who wants to second?
I'll second.
Second.
Okay, Steve. And all in favor, aye, unanimous. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so we're caught up. We don't have anything
You're
outstanding
done.
except for that.
Group
Well,
two,
there
do
was
we have
that
any?
one.
Yeah,
Well,
March
no, no,
19th.
With you and me, but
And
I
I will
think we
go
approved
after
that,
this
yeah.
and make
That
this
that one was
final.
approved.
February 26th.
Ooh,
March
way back.
Yep, and that's it.
So you have the 19th and February 26th and March 19th.
Correct.
Yeah, I've read those a while ago, but
I closed up the joint.
Bill,
They're cleaning
Bill
off
and
the
Russ.
table.
The motion on the floor is to approve group two minutes for February 26th and March 19th.
Which one did you?
Okay.
I'm in favor.
You're in favor?
I'm in favor. I mean, what I saw was fine. I'm trying to remember which one of the two was the one I didn't review because I wasn't there.
Okay, so
I don't believe I
Bill,
did.
Yeah, we
for
got
March
some stuff
19th.
done today.
so Bill made a motion, okay.
Seconded.
limits.
Okay, and all those in favor?
Aye.
That was a big.
Okay.
It exists.
So Bill made the motion, Karen and,
Jennifer.
no, talk to Karen, our secretary. And then you seconded. Okay, good. Okay, and
But,
then
you know, I
finally,
just
group
wanna look at
three,
the thing.
you have minutes?
We
You're all set?
Karen. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Well, we did the next meeting.
Okay, yep,
Even if I wasn't-
okay. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Sorry, motion to adjourn.
I second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Thank you, everybody.
I'm
Get
gonna
home
have
and
to
see
type up minutes from our
Artemis.
subgroup this morning.
I beg your pardon?
I'm gonna have to type up. minutes for the
Yeah,
meeting
very,
this morning.
very short. Don't add, I don't want anybody adding stuff that doesn't, it's not necessary.